3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 11111 of Ruse Radio. What is up, sir?
What's going on, man?
Happy to have you here.
Thanks.
You have a podcast of your own,
Yes,
Torgy
sir.
Talk.
Yeah.
Torgy Talk to him. Tell him what it is.
It's a show about anything and everything except for, we try to keep politics out of it, but I'm starting to think, we might bring politics into it. Not really, not entirely, but we're as of now, we're gonna start bringing. It's anything and everything, but also sports on Wednesdays, baby. we just started doing that. We're on the 11th episode of sports, so that just came out today.
So okay, and with your regular podcast, how would you describe it then? What would you be your general premise when you're going into it?
Mainly just, a lot of it lately has been just comedians coming on. I'm doing a lot of comedian interviews, which has been fun. But I'm trying to make it, now that I have my in-episode producer, Jack Man Johnson, shout out to Jack. He started on with me last night. And now that he's on, we're going to start doing like things that are going to make it less interviewy. It's going to be more interactive for the guy. It's going to be more fun. It's going to be... You know what I mean? It's not as, Q&As are cool, but I want to make it a little bit different. So it's going to be Q&As also with some fun segments thrown in there, weekly segments to make the, maybe, I don't know. Jack sent me something funny today. You remember iCarly random dancing? Just make the guests start random dancing. I don't know. Something fun.
You'd have to
dude.
Have the whole, because with iCarly it was the lighting, it'd have to be disco lighting.
Exactly, dude. Just just throw them up, dance, bitch. Dance, whore.
See,
I don't know.
I don't do those things, but I do think they're great for podcasts.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people suggest things like that, to do when I had Rachel Thomas show on my podcast, she pointed out that I have all these books. I could have a segment where somebody grabs a book that's in the room. You can only see a couple books on the camera, but there's books all over the place. It's actually a problem. I can't stop.
Jesus Christ. Dude, so you read.
It's I feel like I'm saving books for an apocalypse. I'm one day I'm gonna need all these books. I'm gonna need all this knowledge. Somewhere deep down in my heart, I know I'm collecting them for a reason.
I'm a good listener. I listen to books. I don't know.
Books are smart.
Yeah, I can't.
They're good friends.
When I read them though, I'll read 3 pages and be like, what did I read?
Yeah,
but if I just retain information better if I or if I listen to it. So that's why I like podcasts better. But I love listening to books.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but for some reason I'm the exact opposite.
Really,
I think people are just different because for me, I listen to things, but when I read it, I feel like my brain has to cooperate and retain it because I have to think about it. I'm just I'm reading it through my eyes.
Yeah.
It's the only way I'm going to get this is by reading it and processing it in my brain. Whereas if I'm listening, I can kind of tone out and I can zone away. And then I'm what the fuck did I just listen to for the last 5 minutes?
Yeah, see, I can see
So it's
that.
the exact opposite situation.
I can see that for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just reading. I'm just thinking about everything else but what I'm reading. But I'll really try. If the only way I can do it is if I'm reading out loud and nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, right.
I sound probably like a child reading out loud with my finger.
I can't explain why reading out loud is such an awkward thing to do. It really is.
Yeah.
Anytime I do it, I feel like I'm reading a bedtime story to a child. I can't get it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did reading out loud in school. I remember that. When I was in 10th grade and we read out loud in school, that was fun because I was dictating to the class. All right, this is my time to shine, bro. I'm going to read this as good as I can read it.
Dude, I loved speech class. I took a speech class in high school.
Oh, really?
My senior year, it was a speech, not a speech impediment class, but a speech giving class.
Yeah.
It was a public speaking class.
That's cool.
And I loved it. I excelled at it. I got an A+ in it because I got in trouble for talking during class. And then I got good grades for. I also got suspended by that teacher too.
It's how can I get in trouble for speaking in a speaking class? What's going on here?
So I'll tell you the reason I got suspended in that class was actually very funny.
Okay.
So at Johnsburg, I graduated from Johnsburg, right? And we had these things called special privilege cards. You had to have a certain GPA to have that, right? And after your finals, you couldn't leave unless you had one of these special privilege cards. So we had a new teacher. He was my speech teacher. He's like, hey, I'm like, hey, can we leave after the final? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And then day of the final, he's like, well, you have to have a special privilege card, which I didn't have one because I was dumb and I didn't give a shit. And I had a low GPA, of course. Terrible mistakes. Don't do that. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention in class. It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
You might think
Trust
it's cool.
me, you think it's cool now, but then you're going to graduate and you're like, oh, oops.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to have to join the army like I did. So, oh, man.
It can happen to you, too.
Seriously, it can.
He's warning you guys.
What was I talking about? I just totally zoned out.
The GPA.
Oh, yeah. So the special privilege card, right? So I told him, I'm like, okay, well, if you're not going to let me leave after the final, I'm just going to jump out the window. He's like, okay, whatever. So I finished the final. All the kids with the cards leave, and the window's open. And I'm like, I said I was jumping out the window. I look at my buddy. I'm like, watch this. It was Johnsburg's a 1-level school at the time, and I just jump out the window and then jump back in. And as I was jumping back in, another teacher had walked in as I was climbing in the window. And he's like, what the hell is that kid doing to my other teacher? My teacher didn't even see it. And then I got busted and suspended for 3 days. Because I was caught climbing inside the window. I was like, dude, it was an inside joke. And there was a cool teacher. He wouldn't have said anything. And the new teacher reported me. I feel like we could have gotten away with that, my guy. But
so you got in trouble.
Yeah.
For climbing inside of a window.
Well, yeah, climbing out and then climbing back in.
So if you had just climbed out, it would have been fine. But the fact that they saw you climbing back in,
I mean, they probably wouldn't have realized that I was gone, and I probably would have gotten away with it had they just left.
But man,
but I was just trying to do the right thing and stay in school, you know.
That's what got you in trouble, is trying to do the right thing.
Isn't that ridiculous,
That's
dude?
our unjust society.
I should have just went home, dude.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You had already escaped.
Exactly.
It's like if you went back into prison.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
God, I'm out, but you know what? I kind of miss that life.
I miss high school, man.
I do miss high school too. You know, and that's one of those things too, where like when I look back at high school, I think like, damn, I didn't realize like that's the one time that's gonna happen. Like you don't get another high school experience.
No,
the one
you
time.
don't. And you hate it while it's happening. You're like, I can't wait to fucking graduate.
Yeah.
And then when you're 30 years old, you're like, man, I miss that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel now.
And all those people, like that's the crazy part to me is I just think like, damn, there were so many people.
How many people of those do you see now? Like I probably talked to 3 people I went to high school with, and I see those people on like a regular basis. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Did you have a high school with a lot of people in it?
So Johnsburg, I think when I graduated in my class, there was probably like 100 in my class.
Oh, that's not too
120, maybe less than that. I don't know. I think our whole school was like 600.
Yeah.
So we were
it's like a nice smaller.
Yeah, we were like a 3A school.
Yeah.
So we were nothing like all the schools down here are pretty big.
Yeah. In my school, I can't remember how many people it was, but it can't be that many. Like it couldn't have been more than.
Oh yeah, I forgot you went to school in Michigan, right?
Yeah, and I went to school. Like I moved to Flint, but I lived in Swartz Creek before that. So Swartz Creek's right next to Flint, and so Swartz Creek didn't have as many people as even Flint would probably have, or the same problems that a Flint school would probably have, for the record.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
I kind of got off in a good way, but I want to say it was more like 1,500 at most. It couldn't have been that many people. Maybe 1,000 at most, but I don't know. If it's like 4 grades and each grade had 150 kids, I don't know. So maybe it was more like 600. I'm just straight up guessing. But it was a smaller school in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the better way to do it because it's like a smaller community. When I think at a bigger school, it would be like, you know, you feel like it's just like being in a big city compared to a smaller city.
Yeah,
it's like, there's so many things. There's so many people. How do I even keep up with all this? Whereas a smaller school, you're like, okay, I guess this is cool.
It's basically what everybody says when they come up to my house for the podcast. It's so funny, dude. It's so funny when all these city guys come out, all the city comics come up. They're like, first of all, I saw a shit ton of Trump signs on the way here. I'm like, yeah, you'll get that. You'll get that when you're like 10 minutes away from Wisconsin, basically. And then also, I mean, once you get off like the expressway, dude, it's nice. It's, nice suburb driving, and then like you don't have to parallel park. You just pull right in my driveway. It's pretty sweet, yeah. Which I've gotten so used to parallel parking, doing comedy in the city, dude. I'm good at it now. I actually just had to for the first time parallel park on the left side, which I always try to avoid that just because you don't really do that often, but sometimes you got to do it on one-way streets.
Yeah.
First try, no big deal. No big
Whoa,
deal. Suburb guy fucking
give him a round of
parking like a
applause.
city slicker. Let's go, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That does deserve a round of applause right there. I'm happy for you.
Thank
man.
you.
My man deserves a round of applause, okay? That's no easy feat. You think it's easy to parallel park? You go do it. You go do it right now. You go do it 10 times. And if you can pull that off, if you can do that, if you can parallel park 10 times in a row perfectly, well, you deserve a t-shirt that says professional mind blower on it because, sir or ma'am, you just blew my mind. You just blew my mind because that's not an easy thing to do. There's all kinds of things in the world that are hard to do, and that's why we got to do them, because we can blow minds in our own way if we pursue that, if we figure out what we can do that nobody else can. And so I urge everybody to go do that, and then I urge everybody to go get a t-shirt to let everybody know that they did that they are a professional mind blower and that they can blow minds, to let everybody know that's what they do. And so that's why we offer those shirts, $5, $10, $20, $25. That's the number. $25 for a t-shirt. You can get one today. We got smalls, we got mediums, we got larges, and we got other sizes if you so crave. It helps support the show. It's also just it's a fun little thing that Ruse happens to be. He's a professional mind blower. This is the sound of your mind being blown. Also, folks, if you want to support the show, but you don't want to get a t-shirt, you want to support us, but you're not into that, the Patreon. $5 a month, and you can make this show possible. You can make this show a bigger production than it already is. The Patreon is how we get out the gutter, fam. All right? So the price of a beer, the price of a coffee, and you can make this show a full-time production for Ruse. This is what I love to do. I love to bring people in, to highlight their talents, to highlight the quirks of their personalities. I think everybody's incredibly unique and everybody's incredibly special in such a way. And it's a blessing, truly, just to be able to bring people in and talk with them and learn about them. And I love to do it, and I hope I can do it forever. And if you guys go on the Patreon and you support me that way, you buy a shirt, however you want to do it, just let us know that you support what we're doing, because it really does mean the world, and it keeps me going, it keeps me motivated. So even a comment on this video would mean the world to me. I really do appreciate you guys. With that being said, let's hear more about that parallel parking, because like I
also have a CDL and stuff, so I should be good at driving.
yeah
you'd think.
Hey, parallel parking though, that's hard. Parallel parking is hard. That's like one reason I don't even want to drive in the city, is I just think about the horror of parallel parking. I could have nightmares about it.
It is tough. I mean, in a lot of mics you got to do that too. For like everywhere I go, I think there's only a few places that, like when I go to the Red Room, I park in that supermarket parking lot right down the road. Because I've never gotten, you can park in the Walgreens parking lot or the supermarket, and I just park there and I walk down the block, just because I like to stay off the street if I can.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna start parallel parking in front of there, because I had a really bad experience at Glenwood. Have you been to Glenwood, Mike?
Yes.
So I went there, and the first time I ever went there, my GPS took me in the alley behind it. And there was this parking lot that had gates that I didn't really read the signs of. And I was like, oh, cool, sweet, a parking lot, whatever. And I was a block away from the mic. So I fucking parked in that parking lot. And I'm not going to name any names of the comedians that helped me out for this, because they helped me out. The gate ended up being closed after the mic, and it was locked. And my car was the only car in this parking lot. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, dude. It didn't open until 6 a.m. So these said, I'm not even going to say, they weren't even comedians. They were just walker buyers, I'll say that. Passer buyers kicked open said gate for me, and we were good. I didn't have to spend the night there. But I literally, dude, I was like, are you kidding me? I hate coming down here. I was like, dude, I called my wife. I'm like, I might have to sleep in my car. Sorry. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, the parking lot's closed. I was so scared, dude. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to sleep in my car. But yeah, thank God for those passerbyers.
Those passerbyers. Wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes God sends miracles your way. I think that's the moral of that story.
Absolutely.
Like, you were in a time of crisis. Yeah. You had no way out, and then God sent you something to kick down the gate.
Dude, it was so nerve-wracking. I was like, no. I was like, are you kidding me? This leaves this and that. Now it's a good, I got to make a joke about that.
Such a good night, and then this happened.
Yeah, it was, too. It was my first night back at comedy after my work accident, and I had to have a back surgery last month, or October. I had a spine fusion. So that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So
spine fusion.
Yeah.
No, and is that like, is it a particularly risky surgery?
No, it's pretty routine. And it's the same fusion that Tiger Woods had. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing really good golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You excited about that?
I have a joke about that too.
You got a whole new Tiger Woods future ahead of you.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, of course I'm excited about that, dude. I'm not middle-aged. I'm a 30-year-old blue-collar white male. Of course, I'm excited about being able to play good golf soon.
Yeah.
That was my life, dude. Was golf like literally I'm in a golf league, or I was in a golf league before I got hurt. But I played golf every Monday, and then we had to play on the weekends, and got pretty good there for a minute, and then.
So there's even truth in that joke.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm not like really good by any means. I'm getting there. I'm like, I'm like a 15 handicap.
I want to play golf. I feel like golf would be a fun thing to do.
Like a 14, 15 handicap.
14, 15 handicap, and that
means I'm shooting about.
What does that mean? How good is that on the scale?
So normal course is a par 72. So 15 strokes over that is what 89.
I see.
Right? Is my math right? Plus 15?
72.
So bad.
It'd be 87.
I'm so stupid.
72 would be 87, right?
Yeah. 87. See, so I average shoot about 87.
Yeah.
Which is.
Your math is phenomenal, by the way.
I'm so stupid, dude. That's why, like I said, remember, pay attention in school and you won't be a stupid idiot like me. Dude, I'm
trying to teach you lessons.
Jesus Christ. I said 89. So this is 17. I was like, Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Applaud your effort. Truly. Give you another round of applause over here.
Yeah, I'm not good at math, dude.
But so spine fusion. Oh my God.
Worst pain I've ever been in my life from that recovery.
Yeah.
Like I had shoulder surgery back in 2019. I had a labrum tear and an AC joint replacement.
Okay.
Or AC joint. They fixed it, not replaced it, but that sucked. But this was so bad, dude. Because like every time I have to get up to go to walk, it's your back, and then the doctors say the younger you are, because you have more muscle fibers, the more back spasms you're gonna have. So I had these spasms, dude, the night after the surgery, because also they sent me home same day. By the way, it should be because insurance companies, the way insurance companies are nowadays. I feel that guy from that guy that shot the United Healthcare CEO. I feel you, bro, because I want to shoot the guy that made me go home the same day of my surgery.
Yeah,
dude, it's insane that insurance companies. This is what my doctor told me. This is what my lawyer told me. Insurance companies don't want to pay for people to stay overnight anymore. So surgeries like a fusion, they literally send you home same day. I had surgery started at 7 in the morning. I was home by 3:30 in the afternoon. Okay, I had spasms that were so bad that they knocked the wind out of me. That my wife is pretty sure I went into shock. She almost took me back to the ER to get IV pain meds because I was spasming so hard.
Like
it was the worst.
When you say spasm, what do you mean?
Muscle spasms. So like just twitching, you're like a Charlie horse in the back, because they cut through my back muscles to get to the spine.
Okay.
So those muscles, when they're cut, it's just like they're just tensing up. It's just basically like you get a Charlie horse in your calf, in my back constantly for an hour straight, and it knocked the wind out of me.
Oh my God.
And I was like this, dude. I was like for an hour straight. My wife was like crying, didn't know what to do. It was really scary. It was really fucked up.
She's probably looking at you thinking you're dying.
I was crying my eyes out. It was bad. It was very bad. I don't reckon.
And it happened one time, or this happened multiple times?
I had one surgery October 16th, and the first 3 days after that were just the worst days ever.
You kept having those?
Yeah, the spasms were probably about a week, but they really died down after the first 3 days.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
it was like a nightmare.
It was gnarly, man. I'll tell you what. Like I said, I will never. So another thing about the surgery is they made me quit nicotine, because I was pretty I vaped quite a bit. I used to smoke cigarettes, and then I've vaped since my son was born. So for the past 3 years, I've been just a vapor. And they said that they wouldn't do surgery with nicotine in my system. So I had to quit nicotine a month before the surgery. Then they did a nicotine test a week before the surgery to make sure I was at least 3 weeks clean of nicotine. So that's the one positive thing, is I've been off nicotine, because apparently nicotine fucks up bone growth and bone healing.
Okay.
And that's why a lot of people have to have second back surgeries when they have fusions, is because they go back to nicotine, and nicotine apparently messes up the bone growth. So with the way I felt, they said you have to wait 6 months till I'm fully healed. So if I want to go back to smoking, and I have to wait till April, which I'm not going to do, obviously, that'd be dumb. And
that's medical advice.
That's medical advice from my doctor. with the pain I went through, I am not testing it. I thought about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just have a puff of someone's cigarette. Nope. I am not risking that
and it's
pain.
nicotine in particular, they're saying?
Just nicotine. That is it. Just nicotine.
Yeah,
so,
that's enough to really make you stop.
Dude,
something like
I'm
that,
telling
right?
you, I have a pretty bad addictive personality. I'm a fiend when it comes to nicotine. When it comes to nicotine, dude, I'm a fiend when it comes to it. Like,
yes,
I was waking up in the middle of the night when I go take a piss. I grab my vape and ripping it on the way to the bathroom.
Yeah,
mainly to light my path.
like a lantern.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. So that. I was a fiend when it comes to nicotine, so I didn't think I was gonna get this surgery. I was like, oh no, there's no way I'm quitting nicotine, dude. And sure as shit, I was able to quit, and still don't smoke to this day, which is cool. But I'm not even gonna risk it in the next 6 months. Like, I might be that guy that smokes a cigar on the golf course.
Yeah,
but not until after that 6 month mark. Until the doctor clears me to say, hey, you can smoke a cigar. I'm not risking that. I also might zin again because nicotine itself isn't terrible for you. I just don't want to start smoking again or vaping. That would be a bad decision in my book.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or tobacco products. I just nicotine itself is good for focus from what I've heard. That's what Joe Rogan says.
That's what I hear a lot of. But I've heard a lot of people
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
nicotine
what
and caffeine.
Me. Yeah. Nicotine and caffeine. See, caffeine for sure. Oh my god, I know that I'm addicted to caffeine because I spend 1 or 2 days without it, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a different guy.
I get really bad headaches.
I don't get the headaches so bad, but I just feel strange. I feel like.
What do you drink for your caffeine? Or
coffee?
Yeah,
always. Yeah.
So I love coffee, but
I like tea too.
I like coffee. My stomach is iffy. For the most part, I'm in that energy drink era. So I love a good monster.
Yeah.
But I switched over to Bangs for a while, dude, because those have 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I was working night shift, and I drink one of those things, and I could go. But the thing is with caffeine, dude, I can drink 300 milligrams of caffeine and go to sleep because of the Army. We would drink 4 or 5 monsters out in the field a day in the Army. Yeah, it was bad. So that's where I developed the caffeine habit, was the military. Everybody drinks coffee and then energy drinks. So I'd start my day with coffee in the military and then energy drink in the afternoon. It's bad.
I've heard that.
Oh yeah,
I've heard
also
that.
with a dip and a smoke at the same time. Oh yeah, dude.
And they go well together.
Oh yeah,
they really do go well together, like coffee and
coffee
nicotine
and a cigarette.
or coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah,
that
also
really
goes together if you want to shit your brains out.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
But dude, no, coffee and a cigarette, dude, goes so good together.
It's actually
so good.
Or coffee or cigarettes and alcohol. I was gonna say that's another crazy one. Alcohol.
That's been the hardest part so far. Has been the drinking and because a lot of people in the comedy scene smoke cigarettes too. Yep. So this one guy that I ride with all the time, Luis, he's a cigarette. He's 23. He's a little partier. This kid gets, he'll get real buzzed and then he'll smoke cigs all night. And I'm just he's like, I'm not giving you any. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just standing next to you. I just want to smell it. So I'll have a couple drinks. I'll have 2-3 beers. I'm like, oh fuck me, god damn it, just let me go smell his cig.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
you're
so far I've been able
smoking.
to. I'm telling you, dude, the pain has literally scared me away from it to the point where I can resist it, which is pretty wild. That's how much pain I was in.
Yeah,
it was 12 out of 10 worst pain I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
So that's why I'm like, nah, dude, it's not worth it for me. Yeah. I'm like, maybe after 6 months I'll smoke a cigar.
What if though, when they tell you, hey, this is, you can stop. What if you do start smoking and it is still too early? What if 6 months is actually the wrong estimate? What if it's better for it to be more a year? Who even knows? Because 6 months.
I'm sure the longer the better. I'm
exactly.
Assuming. So I'm assuming if I were to just smoke a cigar once a month, that's probably going to be fine.
Because my problem is too, dude.
I also have this thing for bone stimulation too. I have to wear this.
Oh.
It promotes bone growth. I have these little sticky pads on. So I have 2 incisions on each side of my spine. And I put one of them on top of one scar and then one of them below the other one. And it's supposed to go in a circle with an electric current.
Okay.
I don't feel it or anything. It's just supposed to promote bone growth. They gave it to me because I used nicotine before. So I have to wear this for 2 to 6 months to promote bone growth.
Whoa.
It's another weird thing too.
And that does it. How exactly? Like, what is it doing to promote?
I guess it's just sending an electrical current between the pads, and that apparently stimulates the bones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like just probably like a massage almost.
I
like
guess,
just the stimulation of the movement. Your body is kind of like a battery. Like
pretty much,
a little bit of electricity.
Electric currents, yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. So like this is
wild.
apparently going to help me. They're doing everything they can to promote bone growth because I was a smoker. So apparently that's going to help my healing process, which is super cool. I'm all for it, and I don't smoke anymore, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm actually super excited for like this. So the physical therapy has been going actually pretty good for the most part. I had a really rough day last week, but like once I start going like towards going back to work, they do this thing called work hardening, and it's 5 days a week, 3 to 5 hours a day. I'll be working out pretty much, and like doing like lifting, like actual working out, and like getting back into working shape. So hopefully that 1 month of doing that every day, hopefully I can take that habit and translate it into work life and work out 3 times a day before work and continue to get into better shape. Because I think I've lost like 50 pounds in the past like year.
Do you have to work out differently than you did before your surgery?
We'll find out. I actually probably will be able to work out just the same, if not better, because I wasn't able to do much before. So actually, never mind. We're not going to talk about that. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, it's just interesting because
I think I might be able to lift the same, if not more. Or I think it should be. I mean, I'm not going to like do the kind of lifting I was doing when I was a kid anyway.
Yeah.
But like, I think as far as I'll be able to golf, I'll be able to do my job full time. I'll be able to go to the gym.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that matters to me. And picking up my kids, that's the biggest thing. So right now I can't, if my daughter's standing up, I can kind of grab her by her arms, and you probably shouldn't do that, but I can't like grab her out of her bed when she's laying down. So like it's all a waiting game pretty much. Just like you said, 6 months I should be full strength is what the doctor said.
My mom said something to me, and it made me think, because like I was doing essays. Like I think it's a good thing for a comedian, for anybody who writes. Like it's a good idea to write other things, like have a journal or write essays. Just write to exercise your brain, to exercise that muscle. And so but I've been slacking on that. But I'll say it now. Like everybody should do it. And so they gave me an idea for an essay to something that she said. But like you could write a whole book about this idea, and it's that like there's certain moments in life, like certain things happen that change people's perspective on everything. And that's something that everybody eventually learns in life. It just has to happen inevitably. Like it's almost like for a while you're happening to life and everything is great, and all of a sudden life happens to you out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, this is how it happens. And it just teaches you like a spiritual lesson in a way, and it changes you forever. And so, like you're saying, like it changes the way you're looking at things afterwards.
It has changed the way I've looked at things forever, for sure. I mean, like, dude, it's been a messed up summer, man. Like, I had to reevaluate everything. Like, I got 2 children and a wife, and like I just got this job that I'd been working very, very hard to get, and I finally got it, and then I get fucking smoked by a car. So it's like all right, that's not what I was expecting in the first. Like, I just started this job back in October of last year. And then I was off for a couple months for my daughter because we get paternity leave. We get 12 weeks paternity leave with this job.
Yeah.
So I got 12 weeks off having my daughter, and then come back for 2 months and then get hit by a car. And I've been off since. Like I've been at this job for a year and have been off more than I've been there. So it's not the greatest start. It kind of fucked up my my life, honestly. But we're working through it. We're making the best of things. I've really been grinding out comedy and grinding out the podcast. Really working on being a better dad. So. It's working out I have 25 years left at that fucking job. That job can wait. They're not mad at me. They're like, I got hit by a car. There's nothing I can do. I got hit by a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm honestly there for a while through like a pity party for myself because I was like, fuck, like, dude, I just got this job and I can't even go to it, like, boo-hoo, whatever. And now I'm taking that energy and I'm forcing it into comedy and the podcast. And
that's a good way to do it, too, is to transfer it into something else. Like,
I'm like, there's no reason to be negative about it. I'm like, I got lucky as shit. I could be paralyzed right now. It could be way worse.
Yeah.
It could be dead. My kids could be fatherless. So I got very lucky. I need to, like, you know, I've definitely realized that recently that I'm very lucky. I need to not be so negative about it. Yeah, it sucked, but hey, guess what? My back's fixed. I'm gonna be golfing in the spring, and it's Everything's good. It's all good. And I get to see my kids every day, all day. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that like it's always I forget what it would be, hope versus, but it's hope versus whatever the opposite of hope is.
Right.
I'm not sure what we'd call that right now, but that constant battle of like how do you want to look at things? Hope versus, I guess you could say, pessimism would be maybe a good other one. Right. So like you either look at it pessimistically, like, oh, I got hit by a fucking car, like how could this happen? It's such a everything was going so. Man. I just think about that like whenever like people are riding on bikes or like motorcycles. That's always motorcycle accidents almost all the time. Like as the motorcyclist,
people
that's
don't
what
pay
they
attention,
tell you.
Man. That's why I'll never be. I mean, that's why I'll never ride a motorcycle. Well, mainly because I'm just like I don't have luck with things that have 4 wheels.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I don't think I need to be getting on something that's got 2 wheels, man. I'm good.
It's a great way to look at it.
I'm good. I'll just stick with the 4 wheels and yeah.
But the like comedy, I think comedy can like it can inject hope into such ideas. And it's a good thing to do. It's a good.
I've been trying to write about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was very hard at first. Like everybody's like, "Oh, it's." One of my buddies was like, told me, one of my comedian buddies is like, "Man, I really wish I got hit by a car so I'd have something to write about." I'm like, "Dude, you say that." It's a bad take. I'm not gonna say who says it. They may have said it in the last episode of Torgy Talk last week. Who knows? Maybe episode 66. I don't know.
It was probably an attempt at a joke.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. You say that, but it's really actually pretty hard to write about. I've had some jokes that have worked from it, but yeah, it was very hard to write about it at first. And now I'm still kind of, touching on some stuff and trying to make more jokes out of it. I got 2 out of it right now. So, but yeah,
you could definitely get some stuff out of it. You just don't want to make it your whole thing. If you,
right.
You don't want people to be like, oh, you're the guy who got hit by the.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like, most of my stuff right now is like, I try to lean into the dad material.
Yeah.
And like, so like, I don't want to be that dad material, the dad that also got hit by the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be, I don't want that to like self-identify as like the guy that got hit by the car. So like, you know what I mean?
It's like a tough. You want to tell the story, but at the same time,
yeah, exactly.
You can't go overboard.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need to get like one really good joke about it, like one joke that you love about it.
I have one joke so far that's been doing decent. I just got to punch it up better. Yeah. It's just kind of like it's missing something. It's nice and short and sweet but it's just missing something. Yeah. I gotta find it.
Like
we'll get
the
there.
Cherry on top.
Yeah, I mean it's got everything. The lead up, everything. The build ups are great, and then the punchline's good, but it just needs like another punchline. It needs like 2 punch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs like a 2-punch banger in there or something like that.
2-punch banger.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like a porn video.
I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, 2-punch banger. Yeah.
2-punch banger. That sounds like a rap song or a porn video.
That's my search history. Yeah, I need a fucking DP 2-punch banger.
Yo, 2-punch banger has a lot of potential. I really like the way that sounds. I don't know what it is about it, but like I'm intrigued. I hear it and I get excited. I want to ask you about your entrance into comedy though. How does that happen? Because I know at least that you didn't do comedy for a while, but you saw comedy and you always liked that kind of thing. And people tell you you're funny, but like, where does it go from there?
So basically, yeah, like, I mean, I had been told my whole life, everybody's like, oh, you're funny, blah, blah, blah. I was always getting suspended and always getting in trouble for talking and always getting, I was always the class clown type of individual. And then, I just started. I've always watched stand-up comedy my whole life. I always loved it. Like I loved Dane Cook growing up.
Yeah,
Dane Cook was my guy, dude. That was. I think everybody like how old are you?
26.
So yeah, I mean anybody within the 30 to 25 area, that's everybody. Kind of grew up on Dane Cook. I love Dane Cook. He's great. Ron White.
Yep.
I grew up watching these guys, and then like I always wanted to do it, but I never really knew like you could like I didn't really look into like what an open mic was. I didn't really think of what an open mic was until I started watching Kill Tony. Probably in like 2021, I think I started watching that show.
Did you always
2022.
live near Chicago as well?
Yeah, I've lived in Johnsburg pretty much my whole life. Johnsburg, McHenry area. So I've always lived up in the suburbs. So like there's not really anything up there like that. I mean, there's music open mics and stuff. I just never really looked into like how to get into comedy until about 2021 I started, or 2022. Yeah, 2022, I think I started watching Kill Tony. And then 2022, I went on night shift. And that's when I started writing stuff.
Okay.
And I had written like an entire set, like a 10-minute set. And I was like, I feel like I should try this. I feel like I should just do it. I feel like I read it to my wife and she laughed. She's like, that's actually pretty funny. Like, I'm like, And then I saw Shane Gillis's YouTube special. And I was like, God damn it. And then I was like, he's one of my favorite comics now. He's probably my number one all time. Yeah. And after watching that, I was just like, and then watching a couple more people.
Was that you discovering him right there?
Yeah. That was me discovering him. And then also going back to Kill Tony and seeing all those people, like a lot of people bomb on that show. There's also a lot of people that do great on that show. But those people that bomb, I'm like, I can do better than that. Some of those people that bomb are fucking terrible. And like some of them are like, some of them are like intentionally, like they don't, like some of them are like, oh yeah, I know what I'm signing up for. And they don't even like prepare anything and they just bomb.
Yeah.
It's like, really, dude, you're going on the biggest comedy show in the world. Prepare. I appreciate somebody that goes up for the first time and bombs. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, even somebody that goes up that knows what they're doing that bombs. But like, if somebody that like goes up there and they've been doing it for like, a couple of years or whatever, and they get up all confident and then they just bomb super hard, I'm like, I could do better than that.
Yeah.
And then I started trying it, and I like, not saying I would fucking not bomb on Kill Tony. I'm not. I've only been doing it for 2. I'll be coming up on 2 years in March.
3 years from now, clip this with the other clip of him bombing on Kill Tony.
No, like I'm only almost 2 years in. I wouldn't even try Kill Tony until I'm a couple more years in. I think because if that's an opportunity that I could get, I want to make that opportunity. I want to make sure I'm ready for that opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, because
it's, like you said, it's the biggest stage in comedy now.
I think I could do a strong minute right now, but am I confident that that's the minute I want to go there with?
The thing is about that show,
I think if I wait another year or two, I could have an even better minute.
You could, but the thing about that show too is it's not even entirely about the minute. It's also about the interview after and just how you present yourself and how they take you and all that.
Exactly.
Because that's really like that can go on for, if they really like you, they'll give you another 5 minutes talking to you.
Absolutely,
and that's way longer than the 1 minute you got for stand up.
For sure. Yep.
And this show gives me mixed feelings because it's like, it's fun because you can do a great minute, but at the same time, a minute is tough for any comic because it's almost like no open mic does 1 minute.
No, you got to
kind of it's like a gag.
Yeah, it's like if there was like 3 minutes, people could work. I mean, it's a lot easier to work with 3 minutes than 1 minute. You got to have something that pops. And like recently, you saw Peyton Ruddy. From Chicago. He actually just moved down to Austin. He just did a joke on Kill Tony.
Someone told me about this.
And his joke was it actually took him the entire minute to do one joke.
Nice.
And he got props for that.
Because most people try to run through rapid fire like
one
6
joke.
jokes.
It was one joke, one topic, and it built up and it paid off at the end.
Yeah.
So but he's been doing comedy for 5+ I think 6 years or something like that, and it just goes to show. You'll see also. I mean, but you can also see other comedians that pop off six jokes in a minute and also have success doing it too, because they also like joke. But staying on the same topic is a little bit more difficult to do, I would think.
I would think so, because again, you only have a minute. Like, it's hard to do a whole setup punchline in just 1 minute, a real solid thing.
Yeah.
And also to be confident enough to do that on something like Kill Tony, where it's like, this is my one shot. I think about the intro to Eminem's Lose Yourself as I think about this. You can play that before you go on stage.
Absolutely.
Think Mom's Spaghetti as you walk up there. But for real, it's a nerve. And that's the thing, too, is I feel like some of those people that bomb, they are probably even okay sometimes. They just get on that stage and they're all in their own head. They're like, oh no.
Which is what I'm a little bit, that's why I want to wait a little bit longer. Not only to have a better minute, but to also have the confidence to get on stage. And if I look over left and see Shane Gillis is on the panel, I'm not like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to freeze up. I want to make sure I'm ready to go. I want to make sure I'm good to, I'm confident. No matter who's up there, it could be,
and you never know who it's going to be. That's
pretty much, yeah. Like it could be the Protect Our Party. It could be Joe Rogan, Mark Norman, Ari Shaffir, and Shane Gillis up there, and it won't bother me because I'm composed. I'm good to go. Right now, I think if I saw that, I'd be like, oh Jesus Christ, really? I think I could get through it, but like I said,
they'll probably be drunk anyway.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean. That was the main reason I started comedy, though, was just because seeing those people bomb on Kill Tony. I'm like, I know I can do better than that.
That's a good way to look at it, too. It's like, because I've thought the same way with music. I've seen people perform, and I'm like, oh, I could perform better that.
Right, yeah.
Like, I could give these people something, because people just kind of do. People go up there and they do okay, but like I'm watching, I'm like, oh no, I got this. It's the same thing with comedy. I could see that, where it's like you see comics go up there and bomb, and you're like, oh okay, like, and you really see that with the open mics too. And what Kill Tony kind of does is it kind of makes that a thing everybody can see, because before you could only see that at open mics and such, like people going up for the first time, and and like you said, that was your exposure to it, was that.
Yeah, pretty much, because I never really seen, I didn't know, like, I mean, I knew that there was open mics, but it's just like, I also think when I think of like a comedian running time, I always think of like, people like in New York, they go up at the Cellar like 3 times a week or whatever. That's their open mic. That's how the professionals do it. So I was like, oh, that's how people. But I never really thought about how people started. You know what I mean? And then I finally was like, oh, and I looked up Chicago open mics, and then I actually looked up open mics near me, and I found a bar in Island Lake called Mackey's Hideout. It was a music mic on a Monday night. I was the only one there doing comedy, and I did really well. It was a 10-minute set. My first set, I did it with a glass of bourbon like this and spilt it all over the place. But like other than me moving around and spilling my bourbon, I had somebody tell me that I was like, yeah, that was my first time. They're like, really? Oh, you look like you've been doing it for a while. I'm like, no, that was my first time. So, and I look back and watch that video. I'm like, good Lord, that was bad. just because of the fat on the stories. I trimmed a lot of fat since then on a lot of those. I actually only tell one joke from my first set. It's just one story from the Army. It's a great story, and I trimmed it down. It used to be like a 3-minute story. Now it's like a minute and a half.
Okay.
And that's huge, and it like has a laugh every 10 seconds.
Did you like record it and then you watched it back, and that's how you trim stuff off?
Oh yeah, yep. I'll write it down. I'll also write stuff down word for word too, and that's how I memorize it too. I'll go back, or when I'm initially writing a joke, I'll just write it down literally word for word, how I want it to be how it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And then I'll record it. And most of the time it comes out differently every time I tell, a little bit differently. It's mainly the
cadence
of it. The gist of it's pretty much the same, but the cadence is a little bit different every time.
Because you're saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's like, again, like with reading a book. It's kind of the same thing. It feels stilted. Like I feel like a lot of comedians, I imagine they would write in like bullet points even and stuff like that.
That's what I do when I go up on stage. So like I'll have like a piece of paper with me with like bullet points of joke titles.
Yep. And you just try to string them together.
Yep. Pretty much. Well, for an open mic, I usually don't worry about stringing them together as much unless I'm piecing together a new set. Like right now, I'm just like, I pretty much just found the last 3 minutes of a full 15. So now I can do a full 15.
Okay.
I could probably do a full 20, but I want to make sure it's a great 20. So I can do a 15 right now, but I want to make sure it's a great 15, not a mediocre 15. Because I can do a great 12 and a half, but I was just adding on that extra 2.5 minutes. I was trying to find that perfect 2.5 minutes to make it a great 15. So right now, that's what I'm working towards for this next year. So I can, when a booker asks me how much time I can do, I say 15 instead of 12.
And they ask you that. Mm-hmm. They ask how much time can I get out of you?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, like for your first time getting booked by a producer, they'll give you a guest spot, which is usually anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
So that's what
not bad.
So that's how gravy. Is that my fucking thing? Goddamn bone stimulator.
Oh snap! Bone stimulator alarm. Yo, this is a special moment on Ruse Radio. We've never had a bone stimulator alarm go off before.
It's super funny. The chick that brought it to me, super hot. She's like, I'm like, I mean, you're here for the bone stimulator? I'm like, sweet. Oh, it was so funny. My wife shook her head when I said that. I'm like, she was pretty hot, right? She's like, shut the fuck up. My wife's the best, dude. My wife, I'll make jokes like that to my wife all the time. It's so funny. Anytime she sees a hot guy or I see a hot girl, I just be like, you see those tits? And she's like, shut the fuck up. We have a pretty healthy relationship, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because she'll see she'll see a real hot guy and she'll just, it's funny.
She does it back to you.
Yeah. Yep.
See, that's what you need. You guys got to return the favor.
She knows that she knows I follow some Instagram models. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She's not an insecure wife, she's.
You know what? A lot of girls find Chris Hemsworth to be real attractive, and they'll tell their boyfriends all about it.
Oh yeah, my wife tells me about how she'd fuck Ryan Reynolds all the time.
Exactly.
And I'm cool with it.
You gotta accept something.
I'd watch.
Yeah. Can I participate somehow?
I'd be like, can I get a free Mint Mobile contract afterwards?
Yeah.
Like, please. You fuck my wife, I get free Mint Mobile. Let's go. Come on.
That would be the way to do it.
That's
if you're
funny.
gonna cuck yourself out,
yeah, seriously.
you gotta get something out of that deal.
That's funny.
Mint Mobile wouldn't be bad. Mint Mobile would be an all right thing. Mint Mobile, if you're watching this, sponsor the podcast.
Yeah.
That was an ad for you guys.
Damn right.
That's what we just gave you for free. So you start going to open mics then, and that's when you start putting jokes together and kind of figuring out. And before that, you just kind of thought of maybe being a comedian. You never really did it.
Pretty much. Like, yeah, I was like, I told a bunch of people, like, I'm gonna do comedy. They're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then, like, I had one of my, my best friend Jake, the one I do the sports episodes with. He's like, I ran by those jokes by him, and he's like, dude, try it. It's like, fuck it, you might as well. I'm like, all right, yeah. So like, he kind of like pushed me to, and then I had another friend at the time that had done comedy. He did a comedy class at DePaul.
Okay.
And he actually got to do time at Zany's Rosemont for his final. So he was telling me about stand-up and stuff, and like he actually went to that first open mic with me, and I was like, because he kind of pushed me to do it. And my wife kind of pushed me to do it too. She's like, try it. And the only thing that sucked is when I started doing it. So I started doing it, went to that music open mic, then I went to 2 other music open mics after that. And I'm like, I need to find a comedy club. So I found the Red Room.
Okay.
So the Red Room, I found Laugh Out Loud, in Schaumburg.
Okay.
Before they closed. So I was on that for a while. I was on Laugh Out Loud I did that twice, and then somebody I met there told me about the Red Room. So then I started going to the Red Room, and then I started working nights, and my nights off were Tuesday, Wednesday, so I could only go one night a week. So I'd go to Wednesday nights, I'd go to the Red Room. So that's basically, then I started going to, comedy mics, and that's when the jokes started to actually work and see people. I got to see somebody working on a joke, and then the next week the joke be a little bit different. I'm like, oh, he worked on that last week and it's a little bit different this week. Oh, that's what I should be doing. People are people are then you meet some people out there and they're like, oh, I'm like, hey, do you got any advice about this joke? And then you can get advice. Some people, when you find the people that are your peers that are just starting off with you, it's a lot easier to talk to them as opposed to the people that have been doing it for a while. You don't want to I learned that when you talk to somebody who seems like they've been doing it for a while, and you're ask them for advice, and they're just like, practice, just go to mics. I'm like, all right, cool, man. But then you talk to somebody who's just starting off with you, be like, hey, what do you think about this joke? And then they give you advice on it. It's kind of cool. You meet some people that you meet some good comedy friends that you can collab with, and it's cool. I've met a lot of really cool friends. Yeah,
it's cool that comedy has a way for you to meet people that are in the same position as you like that.
Yeah,
because a lot of people that go to the open mics are just other comics, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, that's how I met. Obviously, every guest I've had on the podcast, I met at an open mic.
Yep,
for the most part.
Same here. Since I started doing them here, it's if you're doing a podcast,
go to an open
comedy
mic.
Open mics are like a gold mine.
Dude, that's where you're gonna get I'm literally at the mic tonight. I'm gonna scout out some new guests for January because dude. Also, that's a really cool thing. I'm booked out for guests. I got a guest every week for the next 6 weeks, which is cool.
I've been dropping episodes every 3 days. I'm trying to see how long I can keep that one up.
Okay, so I've been doing these. I've been doing 2 episodes a week now. So I've been doing the Wednesday episodes and the Friday episodes
with the sports ones.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm thinking about adding another episode. Because I'm but at the same time, I'm this is enough right now where it's keeping me steadily busy. I don't want to oversaturate and overwork myself and get burnt out.
Of course.
Also, it's really, I can only do 1 a week right now with Jack's schedule. So that's why we're kind of keeping it 1 a week right now for those ones. But also, we're going to start making the sports ones longer. So instead of 30-minute episodes, they're going to be hour episodes.
I see.
Because we just had to get a different pro. We were just using Zoom, and Zoom only lets you record for 35 minutes.
Zoom, thanks a lot.
Yeah, so we're downloading this program called Riverside. It's $15 a month. We're going to split it. So
I've seen Riverside.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be really good for that,
yeah, it's
too.
Perfect for remote podcasting.
Recording in 4K and doing all this crazy stuff.
And he might not even have to buy a really super nice mic setup. He might be able to do it with AirPods, and my audio will compensate for it. We'll see, though. He's going to buy a mic. He's going to buy a mic anyway.
Yeah.
I told him, I'm you need to buy a mic.
Yeah.
You need to buy. I sent him a cheap podcast setup. It's a decent little soundboard, mic, headphones, and a boom arm for like $170. I'm like, it's a really good deal, dude. Like that's about as cheap as you're gonna find it.
Yeah.
And it's just a basic startup for him, just something. I don't even think I think it's a digital mic. I don't even think it's XLR. But
when I first recorded my podcast, like if you go to the very first couple episodes of this show, I was recording in my car through my phone. And the thing's crazy about it is like I was making music then. I recorded music. I had a microphone. I could do it. But I was thinking like, you know what, let's just get this thing started. Like it's abysmal. The first, I would say like 1 through 15 episodes, maybe the first like 20 episodes. I was just watching them. And just yesterday, because I was like, I wonder how bad it actually is. Like I need to check how much better I've gotten. And it actually, I was like, whoa, oh my God.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, but it makes me understand that some people just don't have like any idea of like, oh, I need a microphone. Like they don't even know.
Yeah.
They're just thinking, oh, I have a microphone right here. Like I have headphones. I can just talk into these. Like, what are you talking about? I need to spend $200 on It's like, no, I'm telling you. It will be so much better.
So much better. And
you have no idea.
Yeah, dude. And like when I first started, I think the first 15, 20 episodes for me, the audio was, we were using the Scarlett, you know, and the way we had it, it was me and my little brother, and he had it to where, so I had it to where I was sitting in a corner in a recliner, he was sitting in a corner in a recliner. We had to make sure the butts of our mics were facing each other so we didn't pick up any other feedback from the other mic, and we had fucking sound treating pads in each corner, and it was able enough to just scrape by enough to just not to where you couldn't hear the echoing, and we just got it by. And then I finally invested in that actual, you know, podcasting soundboard, and it cuts out all the echoes, and I'm like, whoa,
the witchcraft.
It cuts out all the bullshit that I don't know, but you know how to fix that I don't know how to fix.
Yeah,
you know how to fix that stuff. I don't. I'm like, no thanks. I don't. That's why, you know, that was the big reason I didn't want to get into, you know, the music editing thing, because I didn't like it's a lot. It's
like I rap, but people ask me like, do you make the beats? And I say like, no. Like,
oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
Because that's a whole different thing. Just like this, like to record a podcast and film it and all that is one thing, but to mix the audio is a whole other thing. Just like to rap and then to like make a beat, like those are two completely different things.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm glad with that Rodecaster thing, man. Like I said, I don't have to do anything. It has the presettings for this, and it sounds loud, it sounds clear, it sounds crisp. I haven't.
Yep. I actually like that it makes podcasts accessible for people.
Exactly.
Like it makes it so you can do that, because otherwise you probably wouldn't be doing it.
I mean, I would be doing it. It would just hopefully at the best quality I could. I mean, I would just like I said, I'd have to be paying somebody to help me.
Praying for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, and I don't know how much you'd have to pay. That's one reason I'm always like. That's one reason I'm glad I've just always mixed things, because I don't know how much people charge for them. I would guess it would be like. I would guess like somebody would probably charge like $100 for a podcast episode. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. Maybe they would charge less though. That's why, like, if I had to, like, if I sent, because I mean, people who do mixing and mastering for music, that's usually around what it is like $100 for if I send you a song. And truly, mixing and mastering are even two different things.
Yes, they are.
Really want to get into it.
Oh yeah. I learned that too doing the short stint of music stuff that I did. Yeah, it's a whole. Yeah, those are two different things.
But people think it's all one because they, you know, like if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. So, and I don't blame you for not wanting to know. It's like a whole science. I just like it. I just am interested in it. But like somebody who's not, I wouldn't even blame you. And I almost like, I think doing a podcast would be so much easier if you're the person who's just like not even operating that way. You're not worried about all the technical aspects of it. That's why it's one reason you want the producer there, because you don't want to be thinking like, oh, is this all recording right? Oh, is this camera right? Dude, you don't want to be in that mindset.
So thankfully she's my friend, Big Al. She's a comedian in the suburbs. Really funny. She's been on the podcast twice before, and this was the third time. It was her first solo episode. I had just gotten the new PC, and I didn't realize that everything that was recording from the PC, if somehow the drive got full on the PC and it wasn't saving anything that was recording. We had 2 hours of material of recordings that didn't get recorded.
Oh no!
The audio got recorded on the Rodecaster, no video. I haven't had her on the she hasn't. We haven't been able to work something out to where she can come back on. She's coming back on in early January, but like I was just like, dude, it's happened twice, and I'm like. Thankfully, it was with good friends, and I'm like, dude, this is like 4 months ago, 3 months ago. I'm 50 episodes in, and I'm like, dude, I'm still doing this 50 episodes in. And dude, it's a learn. I'm sure you've noticed. I'm sure you still fuck up stuff every once in a while.
I will say right here, right now, episode 110, the episode before this, there was a good like 5 minutes where the camera just turned off on me because I thought, like, the way I have this all rigged up here, the camera of the GoPro is plugged in, so it should be having a constant power supply, but I guess I didn't have it plugged into the wall properly. So like it turned off because it said the battery died. Luckily, I keep an eye on it, so like there's that blinking red light that we both see that the people don't see. Yeah. But when I see that light, I know it's recording, and I didn't see that light, so I was like,
see, just
hang
little
on.
shit like that.
Yeah.
And that was an episode ago, and you've done over 110 episodes.
And
yeah,
so
it's
but it's okay.
Right.
People don't generally care.
But if you had, like you said, like you were saying, if you have somebody back there, you don't have to worry about shit.
Yes, exactly.
So
I wouldn't even be looking at that light.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't even care about that light. I'd be like, somebody else is concerned with that right now.
So thankfully now I finally have my in-episode producer back.
Is this producer like? Is he also looking stuff up? If you say like,
yep. So he's looking stuff up. I will have the next episode by the time you come on. We'll have depends on when we do it. If it's just you and me, he won't be there. But whenever we have guests, he's gonna have. I'm gonna have a TV and stuff. We're gonna be able to pull up videos.
Nice.
We had audio through the coming through on the headphones and stuff. So we were watching like army fail videos and gas chamber videos from the army, not Jewish ones. The army gas chamber, because I was in the army and I went through the gas chamber. So was my guest Billy. So we were watching like army videos, and we watched that dude from that Luigi dude get thrown away. Or they get taken into jail or the courthouse or some shit.
Yeah.
We watched a couple of so like now it's like we're able to like he pulls up articles, pulls up videos, and then he's doing camera switching too, so it's pretty sweet. Nice. So I'm looking forward to he's also giving me ideas too, which is nice to have another person help me again, because I used to have, like I said, my little brother, and then he ended up having to quit, and then I had a friend come on, I had two friends come on, and then they quit, and then another friend come on, and then he quit. It's just like, I don't know. So
why do you think that is? Like, do you think it's just that some people, because I feel like it's one of those things where people have to be in it for the same reason as you, probably. And they probably were just kind of like, they're probably just in it to kind of help out. They didn't really realize, like, because like you have to believe in it. You have to like really be there for it, for a podcast.
One of the so my little brother is just 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
He's just, he's going to college and stuff, so he's busy and stuff. And he's I don't know. He's my little brother. He's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
He could really make time if he really wanted to, but he's 21 years old, and
we'll give you a pass on this one, okay?
Yeah, Seth, whatever.
Whatever, Seth.
So he, he's focusing on school. That is what it is. I'm letting him do his own thing. I'm just fucking with him. I always fuck with him about it. And then I had another friend come on that actually really helped me with like the video editing and like the audio stuff. And like I was going to do it the way that you do it until I figured out that I could do it without doing this.
With OBS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually he was the one who told me to start using OBS, so I didn't have to do this post-production stuff. So that was all his idea. He helped me for a while, and then he ended up bailing because he was like focusing too much on that, not enough on his music. I was like, that's completely fine. Then he came back. And then he bailed still we don't really know the reason why he bailed the second time. He just stopped coming. And then another friend that was my co-host, Blake, he stopped coming for actual legitimate reasons because he's got custody of his daughter now. So like his life completely changed. So he's got like, okay, he's got responsibilities now. It's completely fine.
Yeah.
Like, he was just a single dad before.
Sounds like you have a producer curse.
Yes. Well, I mean, I only had one really. Well, I guess the other guy was another producer. We had like not a physical. We had not an altercation. Yeah, we had pretty much an altercation and a disagreement on something. I'll tell you off the podcast what happened. It's actually pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
It's his fault.
Let's just say there was karate involved.
There should have been karate involved, but I don't like fighting people usually.
Me neither.
I'd rather solve it with words, but this one deserved physical. I want to go back but it's fucked up.
So now we got a new producer, and everything so far so beautiful.
So beautiful. Jackman's the shit. I mean, me and him. He's a weird guy. If you know Jackman Johnson, if you've ever met him, everybody knows if you know Jack, you know he's just a weird guy in the best way. He's super creative, and he knows how to run OBS. He's smart. He's smarter than me on the computer, and so he's really going to help me out as far as just like I said, just another set of eyes on stuff and another brain to help me try to find our niche, try to find our voice, and trying to pop. I want something to be a little bit different. I want something, I don't want it to be, I always compare it to like just saying like Joe Rogan, because like when he has a comedian on, they're not talking like interview style sometimes, I'm saying, like they pull up an event, or they pull up a news article, they talk about that, I'm saying, like, so I'm trying to just do things that not quite like that, but I want to try to find something like that to where it's like I'm the only one doing that kind of ish.
You know what's so funny is I feel like that's exactly kind of what I do, is the same thing Joe Rogan does, just without a producer, because that's the first podcast I ever found was Joe Rogan. And to me, that's like the perfect template, because people will come in and like, one thing that I've just observed, because I'm sure Joe Rogan is the same as me in the sense that like that's how he always talks to people. It's not like he's putting a thing on for a show.
Right.
He's literally just doing what he always did. He just figured out like, oh, if we put microphones in front of us, this would actually be good stuff. People would watch this.
Yeah.
And like but then it becomes a million other things when you do it, because like I told you before we started recording, then you meet people and then it becomes that. So I've just always tried to follow that just keep it as simple as I possibly could. If I had a producer, I would definitely that would be a blessing, because again, when you're not looking over, but also just that looking up things, because there's always points in conversations where we'll just say something funny,
and then
it's like, oh, I literally have a giant TV right behind the camera there. We could just look at the TV and there'd be something hilarious on the TV, and something that's related to our conversation right now. That's funny, and the audience would get to see that because you could record it through OBS.
Exactly. Well, there was ways that I was going to do this to where I was like, there's a way to do it without a producer, and you can still switch cameras and shit.
Yeah.
On OBS, there's a thing called Stream Deck, where you can you have a little soundboard on your phone basically, and you just hit. I had it set up and I was doing it, but it looks like I'm texting.
Exactly.
I'm hitting camera 1, 2, and 3, and I'm looking like I'm texting. It looks like shit. So I'm like, I need somebody to sit on the phone and hit 1, 2, 3. So like, I mean, like, yeah, if you're gonna do anything other than single shot camera, which is what I was doing too, you can't. I mean, if you're gonna do anything besides that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need a producer for this. You really don't.
Yeah.
And
if you're doing it that way, if you're doing like a basic podcast, and the thing is too, though, I was gonna say is, I feel like by doing it that way, that actually is like kind of a rare way to do it, because people get like an idea, like, oh, my podcast has to be this and it has to be this, and I feel like in my heart religiously, I just think like, if you embrace yourself and you can just embrace that, usually that's a great thing for everything in life. So I just go with that, and that's what I go for. But, maybe for somebody, like, again, I told you, maybe a book thing, maybe a fun little thing, maybe a fun weekly thing. Every guest gets to do a thing.
Yeah.
And like what she had said, I don't even think I finished what I was saying. They pick a book and then we talk about the book. Maybe I said that. But like they would pick a book that they're like, that calls to them out of all the books in the room. And then they would pick it and they would look at it. That's a great idea. So things like that definitely work. I just like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, I don't know, because then that might change the format. Whereas like, you might want that. You might be needing those ideas.
Yeah, I feel like just having like, especially when I'm having comedians on. So this is a new segment that I've been talking to Jack about doing.
Okay.
I just got to get one more camera for it. I'm going to have one more camera with just a regular mic stand with a regular stand-up mic. And I was going to have the comedian stand up and get over on that mic. And then we use ChatGPT to come up with a premise. And then we just write a joke with them or something, and they write a joke on the spot.
Ooh.
I was thinking about maybe doing something like that. I don't know if that's like kind of putting somebody on the spot too much by making them stand up. We can also do that by sitting down. They don't need to stand up at a mic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to make it like that, so it's kind of like a segment, like a shtick, you know what I mean? Like not like a gag almost, but like it's like, hey, like they're making this guy stand up and like get like on a fucking like on a mic with a stool. It's like, oh, it's kind of different, you know what I mean? You don't ever see that. So I was kind of thinking of that, maybe doing that, or I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I know for our Christmas episode, we're gonna be doing some Mad Lib stuff. That's gonna be some.
Mad Libs.
Yeah, it was the night before Christmas Mad Lib.
Ooh.
It's a sneak peek, and more. And then there may or may not be costumes. We'll see what happens.
So we really are like we're getting into this.
Oh yeah.
The show's gonna have we're gonna be goofy and gaggy moving forward.
I think so, man. I just like
Have you seen Harlan Williams' podcast?
I have. I've seen clips. I've not watched it fully.
I think he does a really good job at like doing a fun podcast.
Yeah.
Like doing a podcast that like it's just fun because he's just goofing with somebody. Like he's really and he'll do things that he obviously planned before the show. Like he'll pull out. Like he one time he had he was like I think it was just a fake ant thing, and he was saying that they were ants in there, and he was gonna eat them or something like that. And he just pulls it out. It's like a prop that he brought with him. Sometimes he'll bring
he's
donuts.
Convincing as fuck a lot of the time when he's like explaining some of this stuff.
Oh, he's really good at it. Again, like he's one of those people
like when he was on Rogan.
Yeah,
dude, when he was on Rogan, he was talking about how he has to eat celery all the time for whatever the hell. I was like, wait, and then I was like, there's no way. Shut the hell up.
Yeah. Well, his tape. Did you watch the whole episode?
Is that actually a thing? Does he have? He doesn't. I didn't watch the whole episode.
At the very end of the episode, like after I can't remember how long it was, 2.5 hours of talking to Rogan, he like pulls the tapeworm out of his ass, and he says, "Oh," and he pulls it out, and he's like, "Oh, thank God, that felt so good." So
that's hilarious.
It was all for that one thing there, but also the bear attack.
I love
and the thing about the bear attack that's so funny is he didn't bring up bears. He waited for Joe Rogan to bring up bears before he even said anything about it, which makes it even funnier.
That's hilarious too. I love the commitment on that too. Like especially to commit to taking this tapeworm out like hours later.
Yes, and that's like again like
that's so funny, dude.
He's the type of comedian where I like that's really funny to me. Like that's exactly the type of humor I find to be really funny. So the fact he can pull that off in his podcast is genius. Like the fact that he can just do that.
Did you see that clip of him and Andrew Santino recently with the lotion?
Yeah,
and Andrew just like starts pumping the lotion all over his face. Yeah, I got upset because it got all over the mic. I was like, "No, stop! You're getting it all over his mic." I got upset.
Hey man,
but it was very funny.
Sometimes
I was laughing
you need to squirt lotion on another man's face.
Seriously, dude, you got lotion? Hit me, dude. Yeah, man. I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, not really go like goofy and gaggy, but like I just want to do stuff to where like we have like I've been trying to do like with every comedian at the end of every podcast. I ask them 2 questions. I ask them what their favorite or what their final meal is gonna be.
Okay.
So like if you're like on trial, because I follow this one guy on Instagram. He's like takes everybody's death row meal and he like cooks it and then ranks it. And I was like, yeah, that'd be an interesting question to ask people on the podcast what their final meal would be.
Okay.
So I asked everybody what their final meal would be, and then I asked the comedians where if you were going to do stand up in an alternate universe, where would it be? So far the best answer so far has been Peyton Ruddy. He said he would love to do stand up in the opening dialogue of Seinfeld and just always crush. Because they're always laughing at everything Jerry says in the beginning. You know, when he's doing stand-up in the beginning of a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, I'd like to do stand-up there because he's always crushing. I'm like, that's a pretty good idea. I said in front of like a good fellow, or no, I think I said like in like Game of Thrones era back in the day, like getting tomatoes thrown at me if I bomb. Like that'd be fun to do stand-up back then.
Okay.
Like if you were to rap, what alternate universe would be the best rapping alternate universe? Shit.
Give me the question again. Tell me the question. Let me think of.
So if you were to rap in any alternate universe, it could be a movie, it could be a show, it could be anything basically.
Okay. If I could rap in any universe, that's a great question. Game of Thrones is a good answer, but like not for rapping.
That'd be hilarious though.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be good. My talents would not be recognized. I'd be like scribe writer at that point. Let me think. Any universe I could be a rapper. Probably like
on the street, like on the street corners of The Wire. Have you ever seen The Wire?
No, I wouldn't want The Wire. I wouldn't want The Wire because they probably
Baltimore.
I might be able to make that work, but I was thinking something more along the lines of like Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Hell yeah.
Because I could be more like a supporting character, and I could probably
the guy that raps outside the bar or something.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
My talents would shine, but they'd also laugh at me.
Yeah. The guy that's freestyling. Oh, there he is. There's the guy freestyling out in front of the bar again. God damn it.
Yeah. And it's like I'm not actually bad, but that's kind of like I'm too assertive.
Right.
It's like, God damn.
That's a good answer. That's a good one.
I think that's a good way to go for it because like I could still get away with it, but at the same time, like, you know, I wouldn't be in people's faces. If I pick something else like Breaking Bad, I'd probably be addicted to meth or something. Like, there's a lot of like bad ways it could go. Walking Dead, like, what's gonna happen there? Everything's
just telling comedy. For me, just doing comedy to just people that are just not
a comedian in the zombie
not stoked about the fucking zombie. Like the guy that's always just cracking jokes. Like, dude, shut up. We're dying. Everybody's gonna die. Stop making jokes. Or I'm the guy that's going to appreciate that guy, but that's just me.
That's what I was about to say. Is I would play devil's advocate on that and say that in the zombie apocalypse, comedians would be praised as like messiahs.
I would hope so.
Yeah, because they're like, this is our only escape from our hopeless world. Is these comedians?
That would be required if I was like, you know, like I like The Walking Dead. That'd be like a great, like, you know, in Alexandria. Have you seen that show? Obviously,
Walking Dead. Oh yeah.
So like in Alexandria, one out there missing, comedy club.
Yeah.
That would have been a successful civilization had they had a comedy club or a concert venue, something.
Yeah.
What the fuck were they thinking, dude? If they would have just had a comedy club and freaking, you know, I'm trying to think of a character that could have been good at stand-up. Who would have been good at stand-up?
Daryl Dixon would be like the fan favorite for sure.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even have to be that good. It would just be that it's him. Like, people would be like, oh my God, Daryl's doing stand-up. This is the best thing. And I don't know who else would be.
Carl would get up there and just fucking bomb. Everybody's like, dude, shut up. You're trying to be like your dad.
Yeah.
Shut up, Carl.
So Rick would be like the host of the shows.
Probably,
he would come out there and say, listen, guys, for morale, this is what we're doing. He had like, I love you guys. Like, he'd have this great speech, and then Carl would come out and bomb.
Yep. Carl's the opener, and then Carol picks it back up, and then Daryl just closes and just murders.
Well, wasn't there was that crazy dude that lived there for a while. I think like at the end of the season, like I don't want to spoil anything, but
hang on, the governor? Is that Alexandria, or is that the civilization before?
That would be the civilization before. That was the prison. Was the governor, right? Right? Or like
no, it was
prison
before. It was during the prison, and it was during the prison. They were living in the prison. They were living in Woodbury.
Yeah,
right? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
I think it's Woodbury.
Woodbury, yeah. After that was before the prison when they were at with the farm guy.
Yeah.
But it was the farm guy, then the prison, and then after. But during the prison, that's when the governor comes around. So, and then
after that, they find Alexandria.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Alexandria, I think, was just some crazy dude that was like a loose cannon. But what I was gonna say is, what if he was like an amazing comedian? Like, he's a loose cannon, but he's so funny. That would actually make his character more layered.
What if the guy that plays King, whatever the guy with the tiger. That guy's the just
Ezekiel, I think.
Yeah, that guy is just the Louis C.K. He's just the goat. Everybody, that's why they call him the king.
And he comes out with a tiger.
With a tiger, and just murders. You better laugh, otherwise that tiger's gonna eat you.
That would be like great. You could do a show just surrounding that, like do a zombie show, but just have it be like about the comedy scene during the zombie apocalypse.
That'd be great, dude. Or just a comedy zombie, like in general. Like I know that they Shaun of the Dead was great movie. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
great movie. They need to make a fucking show, a zombie show.
Yeah, but it's like that same exact like genre comedy.
Yeah,
you could pull it off. You could do it even like horror comedy, because there's what's the other one? I'm trying to think of what it was. So there's horror comedy, Shaun of the Dead. I feel like there's some other things. I mean, it's like the scary movies. You could say those are horror comedy, and I heard they're trying to bring those back.
I love the first three, man. The first three are so good.
They're classics.
I watch them every Halloween.
Yeah,
every Halloween I watch scary movies 1 through 3. 4 is okay, but 3 is probably my favorite.
The peak.
The one with the just the signs, and what's the other? What's
the aliens?
8 Mile, and that one's the best one.
So signs,
8 Mile.
I think
The Ring. Yeah. That's my favorite one by far. I love the scene when it's supposed to be a spoof of Signs, when the sheriff comes and talks to Charlie Sheen, and her hat just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger each scene, and then before you know it, she's driving away and the hat's like out the window. It's so funny. I feel like they missed out on a really good joke there. They could have had the cop car could have had a hat on the last scene driving away. You know what I mean? They could have missed. They could have hit that. But
a gigantic
hat. No, I love that. I love the guy that played George. The guy that plays that is the rapper and stuff, and he's actually like he murders the rap, but it's like so white. It's so fucking fun. I love that movie.
Yeah.
All the scary movies. 1 through 3. Sorry, 1 through 3 are great.
And like I can't remember who said it now, but somebody recently I had on here is the one who informed me they're making a new one.
I'm excited to see it.
I think it was Stephen Black. I think it was him, but I might be wrong. I was wondering like if they'll be able to pull it off. That's what I was thinking about. Like, can they still do it? Because they did. They made that haunted house movie. I think they did that. What I was saying to him is that you need to have like the right person in the movie. You need to get the same type of cast and the same directors.
Right.
So if you could pull, and I think they could. I mean, White Chicks for the Wayne brothers.
Yeah.
White Chicks is like one of the best comedies ever.
It is. It really is.
So really if they still got that in them, then they can pull it off.
Speaking of that, did you see that? Are you a sports guy at all?
A little.
So the dude from the Vikings, he's been having the best celebrations all year. Him and some other dude just did the White Chicks dance where they're breakdancing.
Oh,
they just did that for the celebration. It just went off last week. It's funny, they did that one. They did the Parent Trap handshake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? With between her and the butler, they did that. Yeah, there's been some cool celebrations this year. I'm a sucker for entertainment, dude. I don't care what it is.
That's fun that they do that.
Oh yeah, I think so too. So I was talking to my stepdad about that actually. He thinks that he hates when NFL players do celebrations. I'm like, they're entertainers. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. Some of them are like, all right, whatever, but like when they're like being cocky, but like when they're trying to be fun, like doing dances like that, then it's fun. But when they're being like, oh, I'm the fucking best, dude, fuck yourself.
I just wish I could, like, if I was that guy, I wish I could do a backflip. Imagine being the guy that does a backflip every time. Like, he runs, he does a touchdown, and then he does a backflip.
That'd be sick. Yeah. In full pads, yeah. That's just so hard to do.
That would be, like, the coolest guy ever.
Oh, yeah. I know Tyreek Hill he used to do backflips all the time.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah, for the longest time.
Nice.
He would do it all the time, but yeah, I don't know if he does it anymore. It's got to be fucking hard to do a backflip in full pads.
Cleats?
Yeah, no thanks. Helmet and shoulder pads? Fuck that.
Dude, that would be like a whole ass, because you weigh at least like 40 more pounds, 30 more pounds. How much is that equipment? 20 pounds?
I'd say like 20 total pounds, probably. I mean, the shoulder pads are probably a good 6-7 pounds. The helmet's probably another good 6 pounds.
I never thought about it that way. They're that much? 6 pounds on shoulder pads?
Maybe less. Probably less. Probably a lot less, actually. I don't know. That's a good question. It's got to be less than that.
I wonder how like shielded up they
my
are.
shoulder pads, so in high school, when I played in high school, I used youth shoulder pads. Like I used very, very light shoulder pads. So
I actually played football in 4th grade.
They're probably like 2 pounds. I'm sorry, not 6 pounds. What the fuck am I talking about?
But I don't know, because they're big dudes. So maybe they do weigh more. That's what I was thinking.
I mean, yeah, it depends. I guess it depends on what position, because, a quarterback and a receiver are going to wear smaller pads than a lineman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say it's anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? But
yeah. And then it's like, how much does the ball weigh? The ball weighs what? 3 pounds?
Something. It weighs something.
The ball weighs something.
Unless you're Tom Brady, then it weighs less.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to make that joke. You knew where I was going.
Oh yeah. Set it up nicely for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you know how those balls in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever see those conspiracies like that? Like the NFL is rigged. Do you buy into that at all?
With the way the Chiefs are playing this year, yes. The Chiefs.
People felt that way about how they played last year, right?
They were decent. They were winning games last year. They're barely winning games this year. It looks like they made a deal with the devil. Like literally the way they won this week, they won off a field goal that hit the fucking upright and barely made it in. They're winning.
I saw that.
They're barely winning these games, and for some reason, you'll know how I feel about it if you see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year. They have no business fucking being there this year. They really don't. The Bills are a way better team. I think at this point the Ravens could even beat the Chiefs, and Lamar Jackson never beats Patrick Mahomes towards the end. I don't think he's ever beat him, honestly. But anyway, if you see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year, you know my opinion on if the NFL's rigged. I think so. If that's the case, I don't know. Sometimes you see like all the decisions the Bears made. It's just like there's no way that Matt Eberflus was that dumb of a guy. That dumb of a coach over this past couple games. I'm like, that's got to be just to piss us off. It's got to be all planned. It's all planned. I don't know. Chicago's cursed. I hate it.
Interesting.
I don't know, man. I really don't know if the NFL's cursed. Are rigged. I think it very well could be. It wouldn't shock me if it is.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch it because I love football.
How would you? So when people hear that, they often think like, well, how would you rig football if it's a sport where we can all see what's happening? We all see them fight. Like we'll see them playing against each other.
I think it's got to be all through the coaching and refs. Coaching and refs. So the refs could call back big plays or call holding on big plays like that, like they seem to do for the Chiefs. Apparently, every other fan. I'm not a Chiefs hater. I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and blame the refs for every loss. But players. I mean, if you're the longest yard.
Yeah.
Fucking Adam Sandler. Paul Crew got paid off to throw a fucking game. So like, it could go as far as to. I don't think a player would ever throw a game. But you could very well say that, it's rigged for an NFL coach to make a bad call, like not call a timeout against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day to lose the fucking game. I don't know. I don't know necessarily if, like the Bears situation, I want to say it's rigged because that was so ridiculous. Like they were just designing insane ways to lose. That's just like, how do you lose like that? So it's like, when you see the Chiefs winning like they're winning, it's like, they're the hottest team right now. Their tight end's dating Taylor Swift. It's like, is it supposed to be like, I don't know. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist because I'm a football fan. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a double-edged sword. It's like, I could see it, but I don't want to believe it. I'm just going to watch and pretend that it's not. But if the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl this year, I'm going to be very mad.
And if it were that way, that would take away from the sport of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That would suck so bad if I found out that it was rigged. It's like, really, dude? Like, and I think the players would feel this. I don't think the players would be in on it if it was rigged because I don't think they'd be down for that. That's their whole life. They love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of those people, you would think at least, unless they're all fucking, unless they all got paid to, paid handsomely to like, hey, this is what actually happens here.
Yeah, but that would
There's
be
no way.
gigantic
Somebody would find out by now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would stay quiet.
Yeah, like there'd have to be whistleblowers on the NFL's operation. I mean, maybe not though. Maybe it's like Hollywood and everything just leaks out like 20 years later, and it's like, oh my God, what happened in the 90s? What are you talking about? Like maybe in the 40s we'll be like, oh, all of football was fake.
Hollywood's crazy, bro. Hollywood's crazy, dude. Like,
it is. It's kind what's crazy is it doesn't stop happening. More and more keeps coming out.
And it's just like crazy. Like you hear about all these like just like conspiracies between just like high profile people, and it's just like and you
Jay-Z now.
Yeah, what's up with Jay-Z now?
Oh, you didn't see?
No.
So Jay-Z is apparently was with Diddy, and he's being accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old. Yeah. Which, before I thought when people were saying that, making those jokes with Diddy, I thought they were getting it wrong. I didn't know he was ever involved with minors. I thought that the whole thing was he had Diddy parties where he would like implicate men in like gay situations and like get them drunk or on drugs and then take their belongings away and just do weird shit at the Diddy parties. That's what I thought the whole thing was, is he would like assault people in a way and then use that as leverage.
Right.
I thought kind of like an Epstein type thing. That's why people would compare those two things. It's like a weird ritual, and then it's like how many people are involved in that. And so that's what I thought it was. But now with that happening, now I'm confused. Now I'm like, I guess that was true.
Yeah, that's.
And then Jay-Z, I think he responded like right away, and he said like, this isn't accurate, and this is. So he did have a public response, but. Not a good look.
No, not a good look. But like when I see like the Epstein like log list, like I don't even know if half those names are real on there. But when I see like Tom Hanks is on those lists.
Yep.
Is that true?
Yeah. Will Smith.
It's like, dude, I love Tom Hanks.
Yes, Tom Hanks is the man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it says like, oh, he was there for business, but he was there.
Yep.
He had to have known something was. But do you know that something's going on there? Does everybody know that's going on there, or were there actual business meetings there?
That's a good question.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I would like to believe that. Like, I think my buddy Blake was telling me. He's like, I'm like, dude, I really believed what Tom Hanks was saying. He's like, he's an actor. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. You're right. He got me, dude. I mean, if he is lying, he's really good at it, and it's really upsetting because, dude, I Woody. Buzz, fucking goddamn Toy Story, man. I watched goddamn Toy Story with my son, dude. If that kid
Woody couldn't have been to
no,
Epstein.
Man. You kidding me? Reach for this stuff. I'm just like, it's so heartbreaking. Like somebody that I watched when I was a kid,
Yep.
I mean, I hope not.
with the actors being actors thing, I feel that way when I watch the Will Smith and Chris Rock slap at the Oscars. I always watch it back now and I think, man, like this could be real. This feels really real. But at the same time, like, what if they are just actors and they're just really good at making that seem like a Will Smith thing? So that way,
I don't know. It fucked up Will Smith's shit pretty bad.
Exactly.
Like, it fucked up his reputation pretty bad, and like, I don't know. I think that was real.
And if it was real, again, the dark thing with Hollywood. I think Hollywood
has
a
Chris
weird
Rock's special.
I never saw him talk about it. No,
it's great. Watch him talk about it because once you hear him talk about it, you're like, oh yeah, that was probably real, just because of him talking about it.
Okay, I will do that.
And yeah, just all the repercussions that Will Smith had from that. I don't think he would.
Yeah, because again, not a good look.
He had to have been going through some shit at home, obviously. With like, I mean, from what I heard, wasn't like Jada always like cheating on him or some shit?
Yeah, they have like a weird relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, which again, we all have relationships.
Yeah, you're going through weird shit
but
at
just
home.
in general, we all have odd relationships with one another.
The joke wasn't even that bad. The joke wasn't even that bad.
The joke wasn't even that bad. And when you watch it back too, if it's real, you can see like the moment. What I think is odd is they were cutting to Will Smith in the live feed. So like that's interesting. Like you just happen to be cutting to Will Smith and Jada when this happens. That's crazy. But that's the only thing that really teased me off. But anyway, like it's cutting back to his reaction. He laughs. He laughs at the joke. And then he turns over to her, and that's when he sees that she's upset. He laughed at the joke originally, but it must just be that like I see that and immediately I think like, okay, so if you had like this relationship with the girl where like you're always having to just imagine this. The girl is constantly like, you know, like she's always stressed about something, and it's like, you know, she's got some genuine reasons to be stressed, and you love her, but she gets stressed about things. And then we're in this high octane moment. Maybe you had a stressful day. Maybe a lot happened that day, and you guys just fought before you went into this massive award show. Yep. And then Chris Rock says that one thing your wife didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to be the good husband, and you like in the weird frame of mind that you're in right now, you think, I got to go up and assert my manhood and make my wife feel that I'm standing up for her. That would make sense. That would make
a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure.
And I think that like that's what happened in Will Smith's mind in the moment. I think that he just thought this is going to be what I got to do.
Yeah, I mean, because also like, you know, he could probably catch hate for not defending his wife in that situation. If she looked upset and maybe she would have bitched about it at the end. Who knows?
He could have been thinking that.
But
for
at
sure,
the same time, it's like,
yeah, you don't want to do that.
That's, I mean. It worked out for Chris Rock really well. I mean,
I remember like a week or two later.
It had to have worked. I mean, it worked out well for his special. That's for damn sure.
Oh, yeah. Because he was able to turn that into a thing. Yeah. Just like you could make jokes about your spine fusion and make that a thing. Exactly. Like you can take that and turn it into something else. Yeah. That's actually like the best result of it.
Pretty much, yeah. So far. I mean, I've been able to, like I said, I think I've gotten like 2 jokes. So I also haven't really dove into it too much. I've only gotten those 2 jokes, and then I kind of walked away from writing about it.
Yeah.
I need to get back into it because I know there's a lot lying there that is just untouched. And when I find it, it's going to be great. Yeah. I just got to find it. I just got to actually attempt to find it. Which
what's how do you usually find it? You just wait for the idea to come?
So a lot of stuff, so it depends. So if I have like a bunch of premises that I know I want to write about, I'll just sit down and pick it out, and then I'll start writing about it. A lot of times it's situational. Like for example, I have a new joke that I'm trying out tonight. That's about how having sex when you have 2 kids is just like impossible. Okay. And you have to find it when you can get it. And it's like, it was just super funny the way my wife and we went in the foyer by the stairs while the kids were in there eating, and we just did it real quick. And it's like, okay, that was fucking hilarious. We just did it 30 seconds just in the foyer by the stairs while the kids are in there playing patty cake and I'm slapping cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, I mean, it's just like situational shit like that. It'll pop up and I'll be like, I got to write that down.
Yeah.
Or a lot of stuff is storytelling too. I have a lot of fun stories from the army or drunk stories that I'll tell. And I mean, I've been trying to dip into more topical humor. I'm just not that good at it. And usually by the time I come up with a topical joke, it's too late. It's like a week later. Like the day that CEO got shot, dude, I thought it was so funny. Maybe I was a little buzzed before I went up on stage, but I'm like, this is gonna be hilarious. I'm like, oh, that CEO of United Healthcare got shot. I could just imagine the guy being like, my deductibles through the roof, bang, 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 and no, like I got like a chuckle. I'm like, I thought that was really funny. Just like some hack shit, dude. Like I love hack comedy to an extent. Like if you just tell a stupid fucking joke that it's like,
if I had to come up with a joke right now for that, I would say, so I heard this guy named Luigi just got locked up. I only have one thing to say about that. Nobody give that guy any mushrooms.
There you go.
It's the best thing I can come up with.
That's good. I'd be like, yeah, Luigi. Oh yeah, man, he's escaping through the toilet, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and again, like super basic joke here. You're not really going shooting for the stars.
Yeah, good old little hack joke, you know.
I like hack jokes.
To an extent, like it's sometimes it's very funny when somebody just only has hack jokes, and it's very funny.
That's in a way that's its own art form. To be able to just have that rhythm,
right?
Because it's actually that's kind of like a whole different.
It's kind of like Mitch Hedberg. I mean, he's not telling hack jokes because his are very creative on how it's like one of my favorite quotes of his is my fake plants died because I forgot to pretend to water them. Like, that's kind of hacky to think about, you know what I mean? But it's like that's like really, really good. You know what I mean? I love that joke. That is so funny to me.
It is funny.
Mitch Hedberg is one of my top. He's on my Mount Rushmore of comics.
Oh, who else is up there?
Shane Gillis. So it's Mitch Hedberg, Shane Gillis, Ron White, and Dane Cook.
Okay. Yeah. What is it about Shane Gillis that you like so much?
He's just a bro.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Just the bro comedy. Pretty much it's just. Every time I watch him on a podcast, I'm dying laughing. I just want to fucking, like, I don't even like Bud Light, but I would drink Bud Light with him. He just looks like somebody that I grew up with. He just reminds me of myself, honestly. Just a bro that just likes to drink beers and make people laugh. He just looks like a good hang.
It's cool that podcasts are a thing, just because I think that did help.
I feel like you get to know somebody almost.
Yeah, and with Shane Gillis in particular, like I've seen him on so many podcasts. I know what you say is true because I've seen him be a bro.
He just looks like a good fucking hang, doesn't he? It's like and his podcast especially, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast.
Yep,
that's one of my favorites. I love listening to him and Matt McCusker talk. It's like. And they're just like super cool friends, and I don't know. I just like, I'm like, damn, dude, I just want to hang out.
So many episodes now, haven't they?
Yeah, a couple hundred.
Yeah,
a few hundred. Yeah,
because it's at least since again like
2020, I think.
I started around like 2018. I want to say they started around then. I want to say
that's when you started doing podcast episodes. Was 2018?
Yeah, but again, I told you how abysmal those first 20 episodes were. The way I did it for a while, like when you told me when we first started talking earlier, you mentioned that you did some episodes and like you had skipped some weeks. Like we're on episode 111 right now, and I've been doing this for so many years. So really, I've just like at a certain bless you.
Thanks.
Ooh. But for a certain amount of time, it was like I was putting out like maybe 8 episodes in the year, and then I would put out 12 episodes the next year. Now I just realize, like, you know, you want to make it a show, you got to make it a show.
Right.
You really do it. But like, yeah. So why did I bring that up? So those guys, they've been doing it since 2018. Yeah. And that's like, again, that's the only way you get to those numbers, that 300, that 400. And like I'm
not even at the triple digits yet. I
it's
mean,
a lot.
I'm close. Like, so I'm on 11 sports episodes and then 67 regular ones.
And if you add those together,
what's the math? Because I'm stupid.
67 plus 11 is 78. Yeah. Woo!
78 episodes will be on Friday. So I'm coming in the next couple weeks. I'll be, in the next 8 to 10 weeks, I'll be at 100.
Nice.
So I'm coming up on them.
I like to think about it like I try to think of like
I guess when you put it in context of how when you started to what episode number you're at now. I mean, it's
nice to know that it's you've done. And the thing is too is like you want to do a lot, because just imagine you do have Shane Gillis on your fucking podcast. Imagine that. Wouldn't you rather have all that training, all those times you've done other podcasts and you've gotten comfortable? I don't want anybody
important on there right now. I need to keep because like right now, fuck man, even going back from like looking at like episode like 50 and I'm on episode 75, it's just like, God, you sucked. Yeah. But it's like I didn't suck that bad. I was keeping conversations going. I was keeping the flow going. That's all that really matters. There's not a lot of dead air, and if there was, I edited it out. But
and like,
still,
you'll get better. You will get better.
And it's gotten so much better, and it's so much fun. I've just gotten so much better at talking to people.
Yep.
And it's a very good skill to have.
It's a universal skill.
And when you have a guest come over and they're like, "Oh, I didn't really expect this to be like this. I just thought we were going to kind of bullshit." I'm like, yeah, but this is kind of like a show. It's like I kind of like want to do this for like a living. So like, yeah, I'm going to try to take it as serious as I can. And I also learned something about myself with that. I say fuck way too much.
You're watching it back like, wow, I really was. So
I've been actually trying to kind of watch it today, but I mean, I've said fuck for sure, but I notice I say it a lot when I get nervous.
It's impressive.
Yeah, so
that you can tone it down.
Well, I need to. I know it'll be better just for comedy in general too, to just not say fuck every other word.
And it's nerves.
It's mainly nerves. Yeah, like also that's just how I was active duty for 3 years in the Army, and that's how everybody talks, dude. It's bad. Everybody talks. Every other word is the F word.
Yeah,
and it just kind of is what it is. And I just kind of developed that, and I didn't realize it until my wife pointed out. She's like, "You cuss a lot." I'm like, whatever. Like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, yes, exactly. And yeah, so I don't know. I just, I'm 30 years old. I'm like, I think it's time to tone it back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm actually like recently, like I just had an episode with that guy from ESPN 1000 I was telling you.
Uh-huh.
I go back and watch it. I'm like, man, I said it a lot in the beginning because I was so nervous. And then I toned it down in the end because I realized I was doing it. And it's not like it's annoying to listen to. It just annoys me. And I know it sounds kind of trashy to an extent.
It's nice that, again, like having a podcast, you can watch that back and see that in yourself. You're like,
right.
Oh,
I'm
I got to cut that out.
I noticed it now. It's 78 episodes as opposed to, 233. And I'm like, God, I've been cussing for that many episodes. Now, from now on, hopefully it gets a little bit.
300 times in front of Shane Gillis himself.
Well, then I go back and I watch like Shane Gillis's recent special. He says fuck a lot in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it me overthinking or is
it? I don't know.
To an extent, I think the sports episodes, I got to keep it clean.
Yeah, maybe.
Sports and comedy, two different things. But also, could it be R-rated sports though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I put it on YouTube, not for kids. Don't fucking tune in, huh?
Yeah, kids. Do you really watch football?
Yeah,
do you
seriously.
Really? Who are you rooting for then?
They're not watching golf, so when football season ends and I'm covering golf, I wonder how my views are going to go.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're going to cover more than just golf. I think we're going to try to cover hockey, but Chicago Sportsnet has been screwing my Hulu up.
Ooh.
It used to be Comcast Sportsnet for Blackhawks games, but now it's Chicago Sportsnet, and that's not available on any streaming services, so all the Chicago Blackhawks games are blacked out in my area, according to my Hulu. So I'm going to have to start streaming illegally.
And I've heard that it is like that, where it'll get hard to watch certain games.
Yeah, Blackhawks. I'm like, dude, we're in Chicago, but it's just this year. This is the first year that it's happened. Because they just started Chicago Sports Network. So hopefully that ends here pretty soon. You would think they would have it solved now, but what do I know? Just an idiot.
I'm just a sports fan who wants to watch.
Just a sports fan who wants to watch my team and maybe start covering them for the first time, but whatever.
Whatever. It's not I matter.
I'm not in any hurry to cover any Chicago sports teams right now because the Blackhawks aren't doing any better than any other sports team that we have. And it's just all sad in Chicago.
Yeah.
For a city that loves their sports this much, we sure do have garbage fires at all sports teams.
Yeah, you got to have some dumpster fires in order to appreciate the sunshine, I guess.
I feel like we've just had nothing. Dude, we haven't had for hockey. Dude, we haven't won I don't think we've won a playoff series since 2015 when we won the Stanley Cup. That was the last playoff series we won was 9 years ago.
It just doesn't happen.
It's just
I don't know. Bad management.
The fact that probably. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to hockey in a while. I know that they just fired their head coach 26 games into their first season or into this season, so I don't know how that's gonna go. And it's funny the WNBA team, whatever the Chicago WNBA team is, who knows who watches it?
Yeah,
that team they fired their head coach over the summer too. So it's I don't know what's going on in Chicago. I think the White Sox head manager just got replaced too.
Damn.
It's just wild what's going on in the city. Hopefully it's all going to get better. I don't know. It just sucks to be a Chicago sports fan right now, man.
Man, not even like the bowling community. There's not like one like fringe sport that's doing well. Like, oh, actually, table tennis is doing awesome in Chicago.
Seriously, nothing, dude.
We could use one.
Nothing.
Just one like little thing. Darts. We could take darts.
I think the best thing in Chicago sports right now is that Caleb Williams looks like he's going to be a good quarterback. I think that's about it. That's about it.
That's promising.
And Connor Bedard is supposed to be promising, but like I said, I haven't watched enough hockey to confirm that. But
you don't watch much hockey?
I want to, but I can't this year. I wanted to start watching it again.
Yep. But what made you stop?
Well, so when I was in the Army, I was actually stationed in Hawaii for 3 years. And it's very hard to watch a Blackhawks game out in Hawaii. You have to pay extra for it, and when you do pay extra, the game's at like 3 a.m. So it's like really, because they're 5 hours behind.
Right.
Yeah, 5 hours behind. So like, you know, a 2 o'clock game's coming on at 7 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m. And I can't do math.
Early though.
Early. It's coming on early.
Yeah.
Bears games would come on at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you don't watch a lot of sports at 7 a.m. So that's what made me stop. And then I got out of the Army and I just never really jumped back into watching it. So now I want to get back into watching it. And of course I can't.
Until it comes back around.
Illegal streaming.
And like illegal. Well,
yeah,
we'll call it being a pirate. You know, being a pirate on the sails.
Like back in the day, man,
ocean.
LimeWire and shit.
Yeah.
You're old enough for LimeWire? Right?
Oh yeah.
LimeWire.
Oh, yeah.
We had LimeWire, and then I had this one called, I think it was called uTorrent. That's how I got all my movies.
Yup.
I got I had so many movies downloaded on my laptop, and then my laptop crashed and burned. It just got destroyed from that. Like so many viruses and probably porn, but LimeWire, man, that was the best way. Dude, I remember burning CDs. You burn a mixtape for your car, man. Oh my god.
I remember there used to be like fake things on there. Like you would download something saying it was a song by Tenacious D, and then you download it, and it's actually just something else.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
like they tricked you into listening to their song, their shitty song. And like my 10-year-old self, I'm like, oh, this is Tenacious D, I guess. So,
yeah, this is weird. When did they start rapping and saying the N-word? This is awkward.
Jack Black, really?
Jesus Christ, this guy's ballsy, man. Holy shit.
But that was LimeWire back in the day. It was a whole different thing. Like,
yeah, it was. I loved it, man. It was cool.
That was before streaming music was even really a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could go on YouTube and find like the lyric version of a song. Yeah, that's about it, or the music video. But if a song didn't have a music video, good luck. You're gonna have to find it on LimeWire or whatever other illegal streaming pirating thing you're using. I just loved burning the CDs, man. That was the best thing. You know, you'd have summer 2008 mix, and you got all the fucking songs on here and shit. It's just like, god damn, dude. Put them in the CD. Yeah, put them in the CD. Well, actually, I don't even think I had a CD player in the first car I had. I think I had the tape deck with the aux cord on it. You push the tape in, and then I plugged that into my Walkman. CD player. Sound like an old guy. I'm only 30, but that's. So I had my CD player, put the CD in, and then fucking plug the tape deck in. That's how I had to listen to CDs in my first car.
Yeah. Wait. So it was like a converter that you.
Yeah. So you seen those? The tape deck with the aux cord on it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, you put it. Yeah, that, and then you plug that into your CD player, and you got to go real slow over railroad tracks and stuff. Otherwise, it skips. But yeah, that's how I listened to CDs in my first car until I got a car with a CD player. Or no, I think I bought a head unit. One time, I bought a head unit. You had to buy head units back then if you wanted to have CDs. So I ripped the old head unit out and then put the fucking one with the CD. Put my Pioneer head unit in with the CD player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
I had a booklet of CDs, man. It was great. Dude, my dad had one that had probably, I think it was 4 CDs per page, and it was each page double-sided, and it was like 60 pages. He had it full of CDs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you always had options.
Always had options.
You had a good taste, I imagine.
Collective Soul, a lot of 90s alternative, a lot of rock, a lot of Van Halen, a lot of Rush, and then like a lot of like Goo Goo Dolls and like Collective Soul and Matchbox 20, like stuff from like the 90s, and then like stuff from back in when he was younger. And yeah, I got a lot of random he also liked Disturbed. My dad loved just dad rock. My dad loved Disturbed for some reason. I'm not a huge Disturbed guy. My dad showed me System of a Down, which is sweet.
I was gonna say with System of a Down,
they're coming to Chicago next year.
They had that album called "Steal This Album" with the pirating thing because and it was like something to do with like the label and how they wanted them to do something. Like
they're apparently coming to Chicago next year.
Are they?
Yep, I've seen them. I saw them one year. I saw them in 2018, I think, or 17. No, 2018 or 19. It was at Chicago Open Air.
Yeah.
And it was because I'm a Beartooth fan. I went for Beartooth and System of a Down, and System of a Down headlined it. It was like a 2.5-hour show. They played like almost every song they have.
Wow.
It was great. And then I ended up getting separated from my friends, so I ended up just walking to the car. And it was funny. I walked to the car, and the song I hear them playing is "Lonely Day." Such a lonely day. And I'm walking to the car by myself. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. It was great. It was such a good concert, man. System of a Down puts on a great show.
Still, too. They've been around for a hot minute now.
I didn't realize how long they had been around until like recently when I looked it up. I was like, holy
25 to 30 years.
Yeah, it's like, wow, holy shit. It's like I didn't realize that they were doing that when I was,
Same thing with Slipknot, I feel like. Slipknot's at least like the late 90s, but maybe they're earlier in the 90s than...
That's wild to think about. I mean, when I was even wilder, dude, when I listen to the radio, it's not too often, but if you go on 97.1 FM The Drive, dude, that's like classic rock station. I heard Foo Fighters on it. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting old, dude. Foo Fighters is classic rock now because it's like 20 years old. So
yeah,
it's like wild to see.
And classic rock in the 2000s was music from the 80s.
Yeah.
So it is like that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just like, Jesus Christ. It's like, holy shit. Now it's going to be like all this stuff. I can't wait till, the stuff I listened to in high school in another 10 years, that's going to be classic. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because I listened to like the metalcore era of like, back early in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Like Warped Tour music.
Yeah, with like the scream vocalist and the clean vocalist.
Screamo and the cleano. Yep. Every band had two vocalists. Yeah.
Yeah. Like singing dramatically.
Yeah, exactly. Everything was nasally, high pitched, really catchy choruses and banging ass fucking drop B opens. Just that's how every verse went. Just
yeah. I want to say "Sleeping with Sirens."
Hell yeah,
did a song.
I remember that
with,
that fucking band.
The guy, what's that?
I said I remember that band. That was one of my. I fucking saw them at the rave in Milwaukee. I saw them in Attack together.
Nice, dude. Yeah, back when their prime, you would back then.
Yeah, back then when like. If You Can't Hang and like that stuff came out. Like that was back in 2010, I think. I
remember the first time I heard that song, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, it's like, is this a girl or a guy? Whoever he is, she sounds great.
Yeah. I still love that music. Like 100%.
Oh, so do I, dude.
Like it's funny to me because like. Naturally, people just think of you as a thing. Like, if I tell you I'm a rapper, I show you rap music, you think I just listen to rap music. But, like, dude, my first, like, music that I liked would probably be a lot of stuff like that. Like, just rock music and stuff like that. Like, just, like, because music is music is music. Like, that stuff is all just good. There's just so many. And that music is so emotionally strong, I would say. Like, there's something so, like, compelling about the way that... Like it's almost like a theater thing. Like Panic at the Disco kind of used to be that way too, and Fall Out Boy used to be that way. Whereas like the punk era of like rock was really in like a full swing at that point in time. It was like a poetic thing almost.
Yep.
It was more artistic. There's another band where they had this song called Cardinals. Is it the Wonder Years? Maybe not them. I don't think it's them. Cardinals. Something flew into my window. I think it might die, and it's about a bird that flew into his window and he thinks it's going to die. Have you ever heard that song?
I think I know what you're talking about.
But that's just another band I think of where it's like there's so many of them at that point in time. Like Warped Tour was a great thing to say because Warped Tour kind of brought all that into one place and gave
especially
that.
Like all those bands like Panic at the Disco or like Taking Back Sunday or like all those like emo bands.
Yeah.
Then that brought in the heavier stuff, like I say heavier, and like bands like like Asking Alexandria, We Came as Romans that had the heavy screaming verses, like the heavier verses, and then the melodic choruses.
Yeah,
that's where I was like, that's what like Under Oath was the first band I ever heard, and I was like, what is this? This is amazing. I'm like, and then that's when like rock started doing breakdowns instead of solos. You know what I mean? Started doing big, chuggy, heavy breakdowns.
Yep,
that's what got me going, dude. I'm like. The stank face is like, what is that, dude? It's like fucking nasty ass fucking breakdowns is what gets me going, dude.
Uh-huh.
And still to this day, I mean, I love watching like the bands that I loved back then. Like now they're even better. They're matured. I love the music I listened to back in high school, but I love it so much more now because it's like that. Looking back at it now, it was pretty cringy music. Mm-hmm. Like the fucking like the dancing that they did and the crabcore shit, and like it's very, very cringy music. But the artists they are now, like Beartooth was never really that genre. Attack was, and then the lead vocalist from there made Beartooth. Beartooth is just a matured version of Attack, and Beartooth is amazing.
Yep.
And like Devil Wears Prada, that band used to be damn. I wouldn't say close to death. It was like deathcore with melodic singing because you couldn't understand a word that the fucking screamer was saying. Nowadays, it's like really, really meaningful artistic music, and they take it way more seriously than it looked back then. I don't know, or like A Day to Remember, like that's another band. They've never changed, but they've also
evolved.
They've evolved, yeah.
Yeah.
And
a lot.
Yeah. A lot. I would say I still like, I mean, Homesick is one of the best albums of all time, in my opinion, for me. But like, I love their new shit too. I love their Resentment. I think Resentment is that album. I don't know. Fucking.
It's hard for any band to like not change over time, especially because like, you know, things just naturally like that sound. You don't even. Almost, it's like a nostalgic sound when you hear a band properly do that 2010 like punk sound. You're like, oh, you really nailed it here, because you don't hear a whole lot of new songs that do that. A lot of those bands that were around then don't even do that.
Some of them still do the music, like the structurally, like the music part of it, but the singing part, that part of the sound structure has kind of died away in that genre because you still hear fucking chuggy.
Yep.
Heavy, slow, fucking nasty. I'm surprised that they still have breakdowns because they haven't run out of ways to do fucking open bark. It blows my mind because it's like a lot of them are nasty as fuck. And it's like, how do you guys keep coming up with? I mean, I know that you can tune a guitar probably like fucking 1,000 different ways, but like Jesus Christ, they have to do like fucking A sharp dropped half a step. Then dropped another quarter step for their next fucking goddamn. I don't know. I don't even know.
They come up with like
just to come up with a new fucking open 1-3-7-9. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just like, I don't know. But I'm a sucker for it if it's fucking played right, dude. I love a good nasty chuggy breakdown, dude.
Yep. I used to say that I think I should bring that back because it's true. That hip hop would be better off with breakdowns, like the metal music. Like if you could find a way to put a breakdown in a rap song,
dude, just a heavy, thick bass followed by some quick hi hats right after it, or some fucking 808s in there. I know some music terms. Yeah, exactly, dude. And then you can, dude.
The crowd goes wild.
Hell yeah, dude. I love a good. I was on my way here and I was thinking like, because I know you said you do music and stuff. I'm like, I love blast. This is a good way of saying what kind of music I like. I like trap beats and blast beats. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Anything in between from fucking literally just the nastiest fucking hood beat you can think of to fucking super. I don't like Cannibal Corpse or anything like that heavy. But like I said, if it has a chorus, I love it. Or if somebody's just even if it doesn't have a chorus, if somebody's really good at what they do, I'll listen to it.
Yep. Yeah. I try when I think about what I really like in like a good song, like what I'm looking for in music, I think I'm so like lyric oriented, but I do love like a beautiful instrumental. Like truly I'm looking for like the soul in the music. If I had to boil it down to one thing, I would say
do you find that in the lyrics or do you find that in the music or both?
That's what I mean though. Is like if it was something that was purely instrumental, I can find it in the instrumental. But like if there's words, I'm thinking that's at the forefront of my brain. So, and like as a lyricist, as like a poet, when I hear words that I don't feel like are like properly strung together, it actually like
bugs you.
Frustrates
I
me.
can see that.
I can't get into the zone. So like the lyrics are super important to me. Yeah. And, like, and the way that in my mind, like if you're the vocalist of a band, you are the front man. Just naturally speaking, that's what people's minds are tuned to. They're listening, they're looking at you. Everything else on stage is around, but you're the main attraction there just by principle. Yeah. And so you have to deliver. And that's another thing. It's like the performance aspect of it. And that's the soul. Again,
For sure.
It's like, how do you apply your personality to it? Like screaming takes soul for sure.
Yeah.
Like a good screamer that's coming from the depths of them.
Yeah. And literally coming from like your depth. Too.
Literally.
Because you literally can't, if you do it any other way, you'll get hurt. Because dude, that's another thing too about screaming that people like. It was so embarrassing for me to tell somebody that, oh yeah, I do metal screaming. They're like, okay. Everybody, that's the same reaction I get from everybody. I almost just want to do like, do you know who Jared Dines is? YouTuber. If you guys don't know, he's a YouTuber. He would go through like at festivals, and he'd be like, give me your best metal scream, and nobody can do it. Nobody can fucking do it. And then they're like, oh, so you guys talk shit about metal screamers and you can't fucking do it. It takes a lot of fucking practice, and there is a proper way to do it so you don't hurt yourself. That's why these guys like Caleb Shomo and fucking Oliver Sykes, he's had 6 goddamn vocal surgery, so he wasn't doing it right. But like guys like, that are in these bands that are successful metal vocalists that can sing and scream and transition between those two things like nothing, is because they do it properly. And they actually... There's this classically trained singer. She's a woman that, like, you would never think that she trains people how to fucking, like, she trained Chester Bennington. She trained Caleb Shomo. She's trained Corey Taylor, I believe. She trained him on how to scream properly.
I've heard of this. I think there was like a video I saw about it, or maybe it's like
this
a whole
lady that looks like just a normal lady, and you would never think that she's teaching metal vocalists how to do it correctly.
If I remember any of it properly, because I've seen this so long ago, but I thought it was like she was trained in classical singing, and she was applying her knowledge of that to this.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because that's what you have to do.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all with you're pushing with your diaphragm and you're distorting with your throat. A lot of people don't realize that. And they try to sing, but they try to push with their throat, which to an extent, when you're doing vocal fries, you're kind of distorting with your throat. But you can still do vocal fries without damaging your vocals. You're supposed to everything's supposed to be pushed from here. I mean, even singing too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's all the
to
same.
Get your power, you're supposed to sing from your stomach. You're supposed because if you're singing from your, I believe it's called head voice, right? If you're singing from up here, that's your head voice, as opposed to singing from down here.
Yeah.
So when you're screaming, you want to use your stomach voice as opposed to your head voice. Your head voice, you kind of get up there when you get for your highs, but that's just for your finding your distortion.
See, what gets me about that is I think about, like, again, with System of a Down. They had classic albums when they were in their prime. And that was Serge singing wrong. He was screaming wrong in those albums. But they wouldn't be those albums if he wasn't screaming wrong. And he doesn't, when he performs them live now, he can't do it that way anymore.
Same thing with Bring Me the Horizon, dude. Like, Oliver Sykes, I don't know if you would get those early Bring Me the Horizon, because Bring Me the Horizon was pretty much deathcore when they started.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know. Now
that's
it's
another band
like,
that's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they also, they've been in the scene for 20-plus years, and they've gone from deathcore to, I mean, they changed the game of metalcore, I think, with that 2013 Sempiternal. That was like the game changer of metalcore. Like that's like one of my favorite albums of all time.
It kind of had more like techno influence after that.
And and then it like brought in like not quite like EDM synth, but like it just brought a heavier influence of like EDM and like other effects on top of guitars. Cause like, I don't know, Attack back in the day, they used to have like fucking like a synth, and it was just like really corny, but like it just seemed like Bring Me the Horizon made, like that album especially made it from like going from like corny to not. It was like, this is badass. And that album itself, that's one of my favorite albums of all time, is Sempiternal.
Wow.
That's top 5 for me.
I haven't heard the whole album in a minute.
Dude, that's a fucking great album. I love that I love that whole album, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Top 5?
Top 5 for
Top
me.
5. You got any other?
Like I said, that's my favorite genre of music, and that album changed it.
Oh, really?
And that was like kind of the turning point of like the maturing for me too. Like, because that was right after I got out of high school, and that's kind of where that music kind of took a turn of being, for me at least, it went from being corny to making its phase over to the mature side of making it more of a more serious type of music, if you will.
No,
guess,
I see
what
you're saying. Like it kind of, and the vibe kind of shifted over.
That's where I took.
It stopped being about pizza and hanging out with your best friends, and hugs and kisses.
That's where I took that genre more seriously.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is actually
pop punk was a funny animal back then because like there was the Punk Goes Pop albums.
Yep.
If you remember those.
Oh yeah. Now it's only Our Last Night doing that. Do you know that band? That they still do that to this day. They still
love
remix
that shit, dude.
But they get pissed when other bands do it now because they think it's their shtick. But that was the whole thing. Pop goes punk for the longest time was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs was Still Fly, fucking the Birdman song, remixed by Devil Wears Prada. That shit went hard as hell, dude. That was like one of the first pop goes punk songs.
It's one of the best ideas I could possibly think of. It's like Kids Bop, but with that music.
Yeah.
Like it's genius. You could still do it today, and it would still do fantastic.
It would do great. Yeah.
Yep. Like there's a guy named Richard Cheese. If you've ever heard of him.
I love Richard Cheese, dude. Richard Cheese is the best, dude. I fucking love him,
Dick
dude.
Cheese,
for
sure.
Yeah. I listen to him when I'm plowing snow.
Yeah,
it's the greatest thing. I'm just like sitting there, just singing show tunes, Disturbed. It's the best. I love it. It's so much fun.
My baby got back.
Yeah, I like the wet ass pussy one's the best one. I love that one. Just like, yeah, this wet ass pussy. I'm like, oh my god, this is great. I'm just snapping and just got the windows rolled down.
And for those that don't know, like he does like lounge music covers.
Yeah, like Frank Sinatra
songs.
style. Frank Sinatra style, but like literally wet ass pussy. But he'll break that down into Frank Sinatra style, and
that's beautiful. There was this other thing on YouTube. I remember.
I'd love to see him live.
Oh my God, yeah.
Does he tour?
Take a date.
He's
take
got
your
a
wife
tour,
out
right?
to that one.
He's got a tour, right?
He has to. I mean, I don't. And we live in a place in Chicago where he probably would turn up every.
I would
now
hope
and then.
so. Yeah.
Chicago would be a great place to do that type of music.
Yeah.
Like that kind of music.
Dude, I would go to a speakeasy and go see it, like at a dinner club. Like,
I want to see it in the right place.
Right. I want to be wearing also be wearing a suit while I'm seeing it. You know. I feel like I wouldn't be right listening to that not in a suit.
I wonder what his set list would be like, because he's got a lot of songs now.
Yeah, he does.
He's been around for a while.
It's got to be Wet Ass Pussy's got to be on there. I would assume Down with the Sickness.
My Neck, My Back, My Legs, My Crack.
That's a great
one in there.
I love that one. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my... Yeah, that's so good, dude. It's so good.
It's really like some of the type of stuff I would show my children. Like truly, I'd be like, this is what I like. I hope you can accept me.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
But and there was this thing on YouTube I remember too, where they would like have the live concerts, and it would be like Slipknot, but if it was like a banjo music, or Slipknot if it was produced by the Disney Channel, and there would be stuff like that. That's fun stuff to do. You could make a lot out of that. Like I wish there was more, because I don't know. I'm trying to think of the songs that are out now that you could do it with. It's not the same. You'd have to do like Sabrina Carpenter. I don't know if it'd be as fun. I don't know if Kids Bop is doing Sabrina Carpenter, but that would be weird. A little weird.
Yeah.
You guys know what this song's about, right?
Oh, that'd be funny.
But with like, I guess with your like army stuff, and how does that all play out? Like, is that must be a whole experience in itself, dude? Because you kind of just glossed over that, but I feel like that's a big period of your life.
That's a big period of my life, actually. So I got in the Army when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
I turned 19 in basic training. And right before I left for the Army, I actually got back together with my high school girlfriend, right? I was afraid to leave. I'm sure that was probably why. I don't know. I ended up getting back together with her, got done with basic training in AIT, came home and proposed to her, right? So I was 19, engaged. And then I got stationed in Hawaii.
Okay.
So I went out there for about a year. Was doing training, hanging out with my friends, living in the barracks, and then went home, got married, came back out, and my life changed drastically. Don't get married when you're 20 years old.
That's great advice.
It's great advice.
People don't tell you that.
Do not get married at 20. I don't care if you think it's your high school sweetheart. Listen to your parents. My parents said no. I think her fucking parents said don't do it. We didn't listen. Also, my advice, I know it's against some religions, it's even against my religion, but I said fuck that for the second marriage. That I'm very happy in my marriage now because I lived with the woman before I married her. That is crucial. I believe in God and stuff. I'm Lutheran, whatever, but fuck that part of the Bible, dude. Sorry, God, I'm not living with this lady without living with her. I'm sorry. I did that once. Look what happened. Not happening. So yeah, live with the person before you marry them. That was my biggest mistake. Was we were 20 years old. She was 19. She flew out to Hawaii, 3,000 miles away from home. We were the only people that we had, and it was just a shit show. I don't want to talk shit about her. It was bad. It was just toxic. She knows it. I know it. It was just a bad situation. Army was sick though.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of cool shit. Had a lot of really cool experiences. Met a lot of really cool people. Lost a lot of really cool friends.
How long were you there for?
3 years. I didn't see any combat or anything, but I had one friend, one of my best friend at the time, Mitchell Folsom. He ended up, he was supposed to be the best man at my first wedding, and he went home on leave and got into a drunk driving accident and died.
Damn. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, he was supposed to be I didn't see combat, but I've had fucking 7 friends from the Army die.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Just like randomly?
Randomly, another one of my friends, Pat, he died on a motorcycle accident after a year after I left. Another friend, I don't know how the other friend died. Another friend died in a motorcycle accident. Another friend committed suicide.
I imagine suicide. Well, I don't know because you didn't see combat. So that.
Yeah, neither did my friend either. My other friend that committed suicide. It was just a fucked up situation. I don't really know what was happening with him.
It always is.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, man, altogether though, the Army itself, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot of really good work ethic. I met a lot of really cool friends that I talk to this day.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends, Bobby. I still talk to him usually on a weekly. It's kind of slowed down recently. I got to get back on that, but we usually talk like once a week.
And with that work ethic thing, I bet those people that you keep in touch with, they keep you motivated in a way.
Oh yeah, to an extent. Oh, so also, I was also 23 when I was in the Army. When I got out of the Army, 22 when I got out. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I was also 20 to 22 years old. So I was like a fucking I worked hard. I didn't get the work ethic till now. You know what I mean? I was a shithead when I was in. So I got in trouble quite a bit, like everybody else did. I got underage drinking trouble. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got in trouble. Well, not everybody, but I got in trouble. Just like my school habits continued into the Army, and I just kept getting, nothing crazy, but I mean, it was fun. It was fun times though, man. I do miss it, but that's a lifestyle, dude. My brother's been in for 2008 he went in.
Ooh, he's still there?
Yep, he's in Sergeant Major Academy right now, and that's really fast for somebody to be in that type of school.
Is it, so you and your brother both wanted to do it?
So the reason I went in, I don't know why he went in. I think my stepbrother, I should say. So my stepbrother went in. My stepdad was Army Reserves for 22 years. Okay. And the reason I kind of went in it was basically, so my stepdad actually, he was a hard ass. He was he still is. He was super against weed and stuff. And I was a pothead back in high school. And I remember one day I was smoking weed with my buddy in our pool back in high school. It was the summer after high school, and he's like, "You're not doing that." He caught us. And he's like, "You're not doing that in my house." He's like, "You better figure it out." He's like, and then he pulled me aside. He's like, "Yeah, no, you either got to go to college and get a job and get the hell out of this, or get the hell out of this house, or I don't know, join the Army, do something, blah, blah, blah." So I ended up just taking that seriously, and I ended up just joining the Army. It was pretty much just I got caught smoking weed. He pretty much said, "Get my shit together." I had to choose college and a job or the Army, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just do the Army," because I didn't know what I was going to go to college for. So I went to a couple college visits with some friends, or not college visits. We went to orientation at the community college, and I signed up for all the classes that my friend did, and I'm like, I don't want to take these classes. I'm just doing this because he is. Yeah. I'm like, I'll go to college later. I'll just go to the Army now, and then I'll figure it out later. Yeah. And that was kind of my decision on that.
Did you get to enjoy Hawaii at all while you were there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hawaii seems like a nice place to be.
To an extent. I mean, it's very hard when you're making E1 money. I wasn't making that much money. I mean, also when you're on post, you're getting free housing and stuff and free healthcare, so it kind of makes up for it. But you can't really go out and party that much. I mean, you can. I'd blow paychecks. Dude, we blew so many paychecks because you could literally blow your paycheck and still be fine. You'd still eat 3 meals a day. Yeah. You're good. You still eat 3 meals a day. The water's not getting shut off. You're good. So if you really wanted to spend your money every weekend, it's pretty much what I did. Do you know how many times I went through an entire week with $0 in my bank account? Yep. All the time. Yeah. Because all you got to do is just go to the chow hall and then just go to your room. That's it. So, yeah. But.
Is that mic falling down on you over there? It does that a little bit. If I angle this up a little more, pop that down a little more.
Oh, there we go.
And then slide that bad boy like that.
Beautiful.
That'll be a little bit better.
Beautiful.
This is a professional production. We got the alarm going off again. Perfect timing, actually, kind of in a way.
There we go. Perfect.
We were doing the mic arm adjustment. We got alarms going off. Like, God is sending us a signal that this is the end of the podcast.
That is right.
But we did a whole 2 hours. That was an easy 2 hours.
Yeah,
man.
that flowed real good, man. That was fun, man. I really appreciate you for having me, dude.
Absolutely.
It wasn't that bad of a drive. Yeah, but you're going to definitely come on mine, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
You'll see me on Torgy Talk sometime soon. Maybe I'll have to answer some fun questions. Maybe
he's going to be a part of these new shticks we're about to have. Who knows? Who knows? It might just be an interview. Who knows? We'll see.
Whatever he throws at me, I'm game, all right? I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to take my vitamins before I come in, guys.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
You got any this is your chance if you want to send them home with a final message, and also all those social medias that they can find you at. Now's the moment.
So basically, I think right now for shows, I only have one show coming up in January 11th at Windsor Pizza in Loves Park. That's my only show as of right now, but you can keep an eye on all those at @Jon.Torgerson on Instagram. That's where you'll find all my stand-up stuff. And then everything podcast related is at Torgy Talk. So TORGYTALK, all one word. You can find that for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Subscribe, do all that stuff. We got some good content on there. I'm having, like I said earlier in the episode, there's going to be some more content, more different content coming out. And, yeah. Thank you.
Guys, we got so much on the way. You can't even believe it. We're about to blow your mind. I was looking down. I thought I was wearing my Professional Mind Blower t-shirt. But we got Professional Mind Blower t-shirts to let them know that we blow minds, all right? And he's got mind-blowing content coming, too. It sounds like two professional mind blowers are sitting next to each other, blowing each other's minds at the moment. And you can go blow minds, folks. It's within you. You are a professional mind blower. But how you choose to do that, that is the question. With all that being said, folks, Ruse Radio.
I love it.
Clocking out.
Fuck yeah.
I got the world in my pocket, got a girl on my arm, got an eye in my socket, whirlwinds in my palms. I'm a free man, let me lead you along. I can show you something different, let me sing you a song. Ain't no algorithm touch me, ain't no palace this lovely. I found a way to find a way out.